see Steve. Just seeing the minecart to your doom is so annoying. He can craft all these weapons and he can...
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Boise State Esports Arena. Tonight, you're watching us cover the NACE Star League West Central Conference Finals. It's going to be Boise State up against Texas Wesley, and it's going to be a very intense match tonight.
It is going to be a very intense game. I, for one, can't wait to see who actually comes out on top in this finals match. Boise State has looked pretty formidable, but I think Texas Wesleyan, I've heard that they have improved, and we will have to see how they do.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a very fast-paced, intense match for both teams. It is the last time they'll get to play for the season, so they're all going to be doing their best, and they're going to want to bring out their best characters. Speaking of which, we're really familiar with Boise State, but who do you think Texas is going to bring tonight for their characters?
So I have heard that Texas Wesleyan is probably going to bring out Steve, Gannon, and probably Captain Falcon. And those characters can be very scary in formidable hands, especially, the Gannon. We've seen lots of KOs. I think specifically Boise State had lots of trouble against that, just getting immediately KO'd, stuff like that.
Yeah, no, he is definitely a powerhouse, though he's pretty slow, which means that Boise State, just as long as they're on their toes, will have the advantage against him. But I think one of the most interesting things will be the starting lineups for us tonight. And it looks like we're going to be starting out with, for Boise State, I believe it was Ken that we just saw pop up on screen there.
I didn't actually catch a glimpse of that. It was just a warm-up. However, we will be starting with seasoned Curlies for Boise State as their first player. Again, this is a crew battle. So basically, every player has 3 stocks. And there are 4 players, do the math, 12 stocks, and this is a best of 3, so whoever takes out all the stocks gets a point in that round, and then in the best of 3, you have to do that twice.
Yeah, which means for a total of, since each player gets 3 and there's 4 players, that means 12 stocks per game, so a total of 24 stocks has to be taken by whichever team is going to win. And in the past, we've seen it getting pretty close. Some games we've also seen just our Captain Falcon go at it and take out every single stock single-handedly. So it'll be kind of interesting to see where we get. Boise State has actually, of course, has beaten Texas Wesley before, but now that we're later in the season, there's definitely a chance of some upset, as both teams have had the chance to get a little bit better, stronger, and just overall smarter. And so now that they've been able to see what each team has to offer, it'll be a little bit less of a match of trying to figure each other out and more trying to go towards people's weaknesses.
Yeah, and we will see kind of the format and as well as some certain keys from a special Dr. Haskell here at the Boise State Esports Arena. And this is Doc's keys to the game.
As always, for Doc's keys to the game in Super Smash Bros., you need to punish openings, look for the 2-frame, win in neutral, and don't forget to taunt. Smash Bros. Is fast-paced. You've got to be watching for the opportunities to take in weakness. And as always, Doc's keys to the game are brought to you by Drop-In Gaming. Drop-In Gaming is the premier online platform for gamers who seek competition. Play your favorite games to win cash and prizes in both free and paid entry events and tournaments. Whether you are new to the scene or a seasoned veteran, Drop-In Gaming has the right games and competitions for you.
And hopefully the Broncos will be wise to remember that as we look at the format. As we mentioned earlier, 4-player crew battle, best of 3. And it is a 10-minute time limit, but I don't think we're going to be getting that.
Typically, we don't go to those 10 minutes. It would be pretty impressive, though, at such a high competitive level to actually go through the 10-minute time limit and go to sudden death. I don't think I'd ever seen that happen, though.
Yeah, I really hope we don't get to see that, because that means it was a snooze fest in the battle.
Or it's just so intense, barely missing each other. They get to their high knockout percentages, and they both are just no, you're not hitting me. It's just 6 minutes of us watching them flip over each other or something.
Some sort of anime battle.
That's the only thing I can think of, right? Yeah.
Anime battle. It's you made me use 10% of my power. I don't think we're gonna see that though.
Because normally these matches tend to be pretty just quick, either or just like very back and forth, just depends on the players and the just general like way that we get into the match. The opening kind of couple seconds really matters for that, and so it can just, I don't know, it's very interesting with Smash Bros because it's just such a, like, just with, it's a two-person, like, 1v1 game, and yet there's so much variety in every single match.
Yeah, it's like a Pokemon battle. I guess it'd be even more of a Pokemon battle if you're like in the Pokemon arena map.
Or playing the Pokemon trainer character.
Pokemon trainer character playing a Pokemon. But yeah, there's like counters. There's certain matchups where it's like even, or one side's like slightly better, or sometimes it's just like it depends on the skill matchup, and that's kind of like also why the order in these crew battles can matter, because if you have like a certain character that a player can play really well, maybe you want to save them for later as like the last player, just in case your back's against the wall, and then the other team isn't suspecting that, and then next thing you know, you knock them all out.
Yeah, no, lineups are incredibly important in Smash Bros, especially in a crew battle like this, because the right selection of players at different points in your team can make all the difference. As in the last match that we watched Boise State play a couple weeks back that I watched, they actually had a switch-up happen with them where they had to switch up against the Bowser because the Bowser was really messing up their team, and so they had to swap who was dealing with him, so that way it was changing out like who had to deal with him and who could actually take him out. So that way they didn't lose as many stocks at the beginning. So having that lineup is really important because, like you talked about, sometimes it's skill, sometimes it's characters, sometimes it's just bad matchups. And regardless, in a crew battle like this, it is instrumental that you pick correctly. However, not only is it just about like general layouts, it's also about characters. And so let's talk about like Boise State characters a little bit. Who are you excited to see tonight?
I think I want to see Diggle, obviously. He's obviously not playing first because Season Carlos is playing first. However, Diggle is that Captain Falcon, that people's knee that has been so exciting and so crucial, so instrumental in Boise State's success. And not saying that any of the other players at Boise State have not been putting in work, because, the Broncos lineup is obviously, very good to have gotten to the finals at this point. But just Captain Falcon, the fact that, like, he can 100-0 you so quickly, just knock you off the map, completely destroy you if he plays well, is why he's so exciting to watch in the hands of a capable person.
And it looks like we're going to be getting into the match. And as we talked about, it is going to be Ken starting for Boise State. And for Texas, Texas Wesleyan, it's going to be Ganondorf, that formidable Ganondorf we were talking about. As we get into it, Ken starts with a little bit of range damage, with Ganondorf trying to go in for the first couple shots, but he hasn't really been able to get anything off on Ken yet.
Yeah, Ken's just spamming out those Hadoukens, seems to be doing well. But it looks like this Ganondorf has actually taken the lead now as Ken takes a lot of percentage damage. And now this Ken has to be a little bit careful because this Ganondorf can be very dangerous if he gets you up high in those percentages and lots of shields coming out. And it looks like Ganondorf will just get knocked off. We'll make a nice recovery. But this Ken just keeps on getting grabbed and getting damaged.
Nice retaliation grab from Ken, though, knocking Ganondorf off the stage. They are now even. No, Ganondorf is higher in percentage than Ken, as he now dodges away with a shield, trying to stay away from Ken there. They're now both just dancing side to side, trying to see who can get closer. Ken is wisely shielding against a powerful Ganondorf blow, but gets knocked off the side and gets knocked out. The first stock goes to Texas Wesleyan.
This Ganondorf is at 105% though, so we'll see if this Ken can retaliate very quickly, or this Ganondorf will make the most of this stock. And so far, it looks like this Ken is taking a little bit more damage than he would like. And now almost at 50%. This Ganondorf is 140%, but still just remaining on the platform. This is the power of heavy characters here. This Ken is taking a lot of damage, and now this Ganondorf is looking to make a last stand on this stock.
Ooh, Ganondorf just kind of dancing near the edge. Got to be careful of that as he gets Ken back up to 80%. Ganondorf is at around now 200, gets knocked out. Ken is now able to even it out for Boise State, but he's starting at a very high percentage against Ganondorf, so it's going to be an uphill battle. Ooh, he's now in knockable percentages, 112% to 4% on Ganondorf. Tries to shield as he gets off the side of the ledge, but Ganondorf catches him with a grab. As he grabs him as well, shield goes out. Ganondorf knocks him off the side. He now has to try and recover as Ganondorf's waiting there for him and knocks him out now with Boise State at 1 stock with Texas Wesleyan at 2.
And this Ganondorf's only at 34%, so not ideal for the Broncos here, as the Rams are doing a good job of getting some stocks off of the Boise State already. This Ganondorf is at 80%, 100%, so actually it is getting into dangerous range for this Ganondorf for Texas Wesleyan. This Ken is looking to get some ledge knocks and actually gets a KO, and now this Ken is only at 25%, so this is anybody's stock.
Ken is at 40%, trying to get a couple percentages off on Ganondorf, but gets grabbed by a nasty attack. Tries to dodge out of the way, but Ganondorf knocks him up into the air. Just trying to recover. Dodges the Ganondorf charged attack there, but Ganondorf shields the retaliation. Ganondorf's now at around 50%. He tries to go in for the strong Shoryuken attack, but just doesn't quite hit it. Gets the perfect counter, though. Ooh, just not quite able to get the hold that he needs, as Ganondorf is just patiently, and as I say that, the opportunity arises. Ken knocks out Ganondorf, giving Boise State the first game. However, he is at 1 stock.
That 1 stock can be very fundamental, though, and I think underlooked part of crew battles is, yeah, you only have 1 stock, but your percentage gets reset. So if you play it really well, you can use that percentage.
You can take the game.
Yeah, you can take a lot of stocks. You can maybe even take 3 more stocks. We've seen 12 stocks from Boise State, so I would not be surprised if this Ken could do it. That would be speaking too soon. We've seen the people's knee with Captain Falcon, but we saw a lot of people's fists there with the Ken there, just uppercutting that Ganondorf to oblivion 3 times, I believe, to knock him out of the stage and get those KOs.
Yeah, which was really instrumental in him being able to take out Ganondorf. Ganondorf being such a heavy character, it takes a lot of percentages or a very powerful attack to be able to actually knock him off screen, which is why Ken was able to knock him off for those 3 stocks. Each stock was taken by the powerful Shoryuken as he launched him into the air. Of course, though, it was always a big struggle as he had to still get him up into the hundreds of percentages before, unlike some lighter characters where he might have been able to do it in like the 70s to 80s if he got the right attack off.
And that's the thing about heavy characters is you just got to be so careful around them. Yeah, they're slower, but they are powerful. They hit like trucks, and they tank so much damage, but that wasn't a problem for Seasoned Curlies. That Ken played pretty dang well to be able to, especially in that last stock. It was looking.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
That just the combo there, that was a work of beauty, and I can't wait to see who Texas Wesleyan pulls out next, because I want to see if Boise State can continue their winning here.
Yeah, so we've seen Ganon, which is one character that's pretty consistent for Texas Wesley, which means that out of the couple characters that we heard about, there's a chance that we'll see a Falcon or Steve next, or maybe another mystery character, as we heard that they got a new player, which means that there could be some mystery character that we haven't seen yet. Who do you think you're gonna who do you want to see next? Steve or Falcon out of the 2 that we know? Or do you have a just random pick that you would love to see?
I want to see Steve, just because I want to see Ken beat the crap out of that annoying character. Steve is just so annoying because, he just minecarts you.
Oh, it is so painful when he minecarts you off the edge. Is it just me, or I don't know, my brother picked him up, because I have all the DLC on Smash, and my brother was like, oh, what's Steve do? And then he got the minecart, and oh my gosh, that was the most frustrating game I've played. And my brother plays Pac-Man, and that's not a fun character to play against either. But no, that minecart, that is dangerous. But so is the, ability to build blocks. I mean, there was a match that we saw earlier in the season where there was a Sephiroth, and his ability, one of Sephiroth's greatest skills is the fact that he has such a long sword, and so he's really effective at hitting people far away. And Steve just walked all over him for a while there. If you remember, he just built up blocks around him and just trapped him in, because he's such a tall character. It was really effective for him. So Steve, very nasty if you know how to play them.
Yep. Or we could see a Captain Falcon, which again would be like another heavier character and also just very dangerous again. But I have full confidence that whoever we see, it is going to be a great matchup. So it looks like we actually will see the Captain Falcon. Speak of the devil, we already see a Hadouken.
Resetting.
This is just a
stocks.
reset.
Yep. BSU has to start at 1 stock. So it's going to be quite the uphill battle for them as we get into the beginning of the match. Just both testing the waters as they are melee characters, and Ken gets the first blow, getting Falcon up to 16%, now 28%, as Falcon tries to retaliate, but Ken jumps over him.
So far, this Captain Falcon has not found any effective contact, already up at 60%, 74%. That Hadouken will get blocked 80% now for this Captain Falcon. We'll get some retaliation, and you have to be so careful against Captain Falcon because even if you're on the platform, he can do so much damage. He can knock you, and it looks like the uppercut will not find anything. Now this Captain Falcon is reaching 100%, and this Ken actually will get a spinning kick. And now this is looking like it is danger range, and the uppercut once again takes the stock off of Texas Wesleyan.
Nice, and in addition to that, Boise State was able to get the first attack off on him as soon as he respawned, bringing him up to 47%. There's now like about a 20%, not even anymore, difference between the two, about 30% now, as Falcon does manage to land a hit. But it's already a significant lead for Boise State there if they manage to take another stock. But unfortunately, Falcon hits him straight down.
Yeah. For a second there, I thought it was like, Ken got an uppercut.
That's what I thought too. But Texas Wesleyan does manage to take Ken out, but not without losing a stock. So Boise State is still up a character. And with their now, let's see, it's going to be
8 stocks to 9 stocks.
Yeah, 8 stocks to 9 stocks. So
if we're playing the mathematical game, the Broncos have the advantage. If you trade 1 for 1. However, that's not usually how these things go.
Yeah. We'll have to see where it goes next, and if Boise State's next player is going to be able to take more than 1 character. But right now, Boise State does have the advantage. They're going to be coming in fresh with 3 stocks versus this Captain Falcon, who's only going to have 2. And so it's going to be an interesting battle, especially if we don't know who Boise State's going to pull out next, but it could be their Captain Falcon, which would be really funny, the Falcon versus Falcon battle.
So it looks like Kecking is setting up. And
we're not sure what it's going to be yet. Looks like...
Is that Joker I see?
It looks like it might be Joker.
Oh.
Opinions on Joker?
Well, I've been playing... Over Thanksgiving break, I played so much Persona 5 because it came out on the PC Game Pass.
Oh, that's right, it did. I have a friend doing that.
PC Game Pass, Persona 5 Royal came out on the PC Game Pass. So the fact is, I'm completely biased to whoever's playing Joker. I don't know. I'm sorry. I cannot be unbiased after playing, like, putting 70 hours, 75 hours into Persona 5 at this point. However, I will say against this Captain Falcon, this Joker might have trouble. If the Persona can get fully powered, maybe this Joker can be effective. However, we'll have to keep this Captain Falcon at an arm's distance because this, Joker's a light character, and Captain Falcon...
And his melee range isn't very long, so if Falcon manages to grab a hold of him, it's going to be... nasty. But you're right. If Arsene does come out, it'll definitely turn the tide in Boise State's favor. However, as we've talked about, it's not always just about the character. It's also about the player skill. And Joker does require a lot of skill to play. And he's an interesting character who could probably actually do well against Falcon as long as he doesn't get knocked off the stage too many times.
I've heard a lot about his neutral special.
Oh, we've all heard a lot about the neutral special. I mean, it's the neutral special of Joker. Of course, we've heard about it.
Yeah. I mean, if he can spam that gun, get those bullets out, a lot of poke damage, just, dodge the Captain Falcon. I guess easier said than done. But it looks like we are going to get into this matchup, and I, for one, cannot wait.
Yeah, it'll be fun to see a little bit of a different character. Like, I haven't seen Joker in a while, but as we get into it, it is now going to be Captain Falcon versus Joker. Falcon is going to reset quickly as they get into the match now. Taunting to start it off.
Looking cool, Joker.
Oh, gosh. No, you know, this is what happens when you play too much Persona. You just get to quote this now. As they're just both kind of testing the water right now.
Yeah, a little bit of just showing off here. Nobody.
Oh,
it looks like
special.
Joker will get
Ooh.
first contact, and it looks like this Joker actually will take quite a bit of damage on to this Captain Falcon. But now this is the problem: is that if this Captain Falcon gets close, he's just throwing Joker around. This Joker is actually getting some nice damage. Actually dodges that dash, and now almost charged up here.
Yeah,
This
watch
is anybody's
out.
game.
Arsene is close to being charged, which means that it could go really any game right now. They're within 10% of each other as they're just both kind of poking right now. Joker gets a solid combo off, but Falcon retaliates. However, Arsene is out now, giving Joker just a much-needed power-up here against Captain Falcon's just powerful blows. Ooh, tries to knock him off the side, isn't quite able to prevent the recovery as they both get back up on stage.
Yeah, this Arsene is almost out of time here. Oh, it looks like that would actually be Captain Falcon making the powerful contact. And now at 116%, this Joker has to be so careful. And as I say that, it looks like a stock will get taken out. But maybe this Captain Falcon is still going. This is the power of light characters versus heavier characters. And now 135%, and this Captain Falcon is still kicking. You have to be so careful.
Yeah, Joker just volleying him off the side again and again, but not quite able to get the KO he needs. However, he does get a decent counter there, grabs him, doesn't quite follow through with it, but he does have Captain Falcon at 150%. If he can just get a good contact here, he might be able to prevent the recovery and knock him off the side, but Captain Falcon isn't going to go down easy, and he dodges it.
176%, even with all these grapples, and it's still not happening for the Broncos here. They want to knock this Captain Falcon out.
And there we
go. Finally will get knocked out.
Finally gets him into the offstage area. It is now 2 stocks to 1 stock. Boise State is starting to get some percentage, but he has Arsene, allowing him to volley right back. They're about same, even in percentage now. Captain Falcon trying to get a couple blows off, does successfully launch him into the air. But Joker is not having it and volleys back. Arsene is almost out. He's going to try and prevent the recovery. Ooh, almost does, but Falcon blocks perfectly timed.
Looks like we just have some grapples going on here. Lots of just back and forth, and now just this ledge play. You have to be so careful if you're the side of Boise State, because this Captain Falcon, while he is not the most mobile, he thrives in these situations where he, like that, the recovery right into the kick. And now this means that is 1-to-1 stocks right here. And this Captain Falcon is so low, but this Joker is taking some damage that maybe Boise State does not want to be taking. 140%, this is getting dangerous.
Ooh, Arsene is going to activate, though, so maybe Boise State can come back from this. They just need one solid hit and to launch him off the side and prevent the recovery. Captain Falcon's at 170, 177, tries to prevent the recovery, but he just manages to get to the ledge there. Tries to go for another ranged attack, but he gets knocked off the side, now having to watch for Captain Falcon trying to prevent the recovery. Manages to roll past him and knock him off the side, giving Boise State the lead. But similar to the last match, it's only a 1-stock lead right now.
1-stock lead, but, I mean, again, numbers game, that's all you need.
That's how you win, right?
It was looking pretty dangerous there for that Joker in the end, but Arsene came out. The ledge recovery into the Captain Falcon damage was not there. Kaking played it very, very carefully in that last stock and managed to, just keep the lead that Boise State has. It's only a 1-stock lead. However, again, that's all you need.
Yeah, and all he needs to do, to really just keep effective with this game is, the best case scenario is he managed to take a stock or two off of the next opponent. And regardless of how it goes, if Joker loses, they're just evening out in some way. So best case scenario, they manage to take a stock and keep their lead. But regardless, it's not a true loss for them until they lose the next character after Joker.
And again, even if, it gets down to the wire, there's always more characters. There's always, more strategy, always time to reconsider, and it is a best of 3. So even if, either side manages to win this crew battle, there's always time to come back, make that comeback, and just come back. I keep on saying comeback, but the underdog story, for Texas Wesleyan against Boise State, or will the Broncos just continue to succeed in this finals match? And that would be a great story for them, as this is the first Boise State esports smash team. So it would be great if they managed to get a victory their first time around.
Yeah, and it's impressive that they've managed to get to the finals, too. So, for our first time having a team here, it's really awesome to be able to see just such awesome gameplay and just getting so far already. And it looks like we're going to get into it and see the next character for Texas Wesleyan.
It's an Enderman.
And it is Enderman, which means it's Steve. So, it's now going to be Joker versus Steve. Interesting matchup. Haven't really seen this before, but we're going to get into it now. BSU has reset stocks. And Enderman is going to start off by mining, but is going to take a little bit of damage from BSU. Ooh, tries to go for the minecart, but isn't able to pull it off, except for this time now. Joker's now at the higher damage percentage as Enderman starts building away. I keep saying Enderman, it's Steve, technically still. And Arson is now activated. Just getting into it.
Arson, funnily enough, not the strongest persona, but maybe that's all that Joker needs to get some more damage. Actually, a nice knock-up. And now this Enderman, this Steve Enderman, whatever you want to call it, the Minecraft character, will make a ledge recovery, just building blocks, just being annoying as usual, being a nuisance, actually shielding quite a bit of damage. And now it looks like this Steve is just playing to prevent this Joker from attacking and just getting it up frontier. The minecart, but it will not knock him off the ledge quite yet. And we will just continue to see how this very annoying character gets to play.
Yeah, he's just going to continue and mine below as just more and more poke damage from both sides. No one's really in danger of anything yet as we're just continuing here. Ooh, does get caught in a grab, though. Arsene is out, though. Manages to get some decent damage off because of that, and Steve does go flying. However, he does have decent recovery, so it's going to take a little bit more than that to actually get him off the side. Boise State manages to hit him and is now going to ledge guard there. Steve tries to get up, but just messes up the way the Electra on recovery there, giving Boise State a stock against Texas Wesleyan.
And now, if you were this Joker, you're happy, even if you are not able to get any more stocks because you just continue to have this lead. Now this Enderman will throw Joker.
Whoa,
and the anvil comes out. The anvil.
Oh, no.
Another anvil. Oh no,
tries to go for the minecart.
The grappling hook comes through, and another anvil. Triple anvil.
The triple anvil. Well, Enderman does end up winning. However, they were able to take a stock, so Boise State is still in the lead here. But as we saw and as you talked about, Enderman was able to do what, Steve does best and just kind of poke him and do some annoying damage over time. And he just kind of, that was interesting. He just did a lot of wall building, which, pretty standard for Steve. But I haven't seen a lot of Steves just do that so much so that they could just peacefully mine. I don't know. It was kind of amusing to watch him just be like, no, I'm not fighting you right now. Let me get what I need to do here, and then we'll talk later.
Well, it seemed to be an effective strategy, just blocking out this Joker who, kind of has to build up to that damage. Just blocking out the Joker and then being able to mine and then dropping 3 anvils on his face.
Those anvils are nasty, though, if you do manage to get someone off the side. They're so good for denying recovery.
Yeah, we saw how that worked out, and in the end, it will just be this one stock advantage, I believe. And now we're going to have Diggle probably coming in with that Captain Falcon, and I'm kind of excited to see how that will turn out. I want to see the people's knee into this Enderman's face because it's nothing against Texas. It's nothing against
Steve.
Texas Wesleyan. Yes, I do.
It's just Steve.
It's not Texas Wesleyan. I promise. It's just anyone who plays that character.
Just Steve. Don't like Steve?
I don't like Steve.
What's so annoying about Steve? I don't understand. What could be so problematic about him for you?
He's just annoying. He blocks you. He minecarts you off the ledge, and maybe it's because I'm a bad player.
I don't know. I mean, he's kind of fun. I understand. He's a very interesting character to deal with. And so, what'd your mom say? As Boise State players, moms agree. Steve is hated. We hate Steve.
Yeah, we hate Steve. Okay, I'm gonna go off the hate train now because that's not fair to Texas Wesleyan.
Yeah.
But we will see Diggle coming out with the Captain Falcon. This Captain Falcon has been instrumental to Boise State's success as we see a stock reset.
Yep.
And now Captain Falcon says, "Show me a move." We will see if the Enderman has a move. We'll actually recover on the ledge. That was a little scary there. And this wooden axe is doing a little bit of poke damage.
Yeah, able to get some decent damage. The axe is always really good for getting people into the air. As we can see, Captain Falcon is almost at 100% now. However, he's just playing it safe and trying to avoid the nasty anvil there. And launches him into the air there. Gets a solid attack off, bringing the percentages a little bit closer in the towards the advantage of Captain Falcon. Once again, launching Enderman into the air.
This Captain Falcon is at 105% though, 123%. And now just more crafting. This Enderman, this Steve, whatever you want to call this entity, is playing so well. Takes a stock, and this is actually evened up now for Texas Wesleyan. And oh my goodness. This is some phenomenal Minecraft gameplay here. This Captain Falcon is just getting juked all over the place. The minecarts will not be able to find contact quite yet. This Captain Falcon is going to be ledge guarding, but the recovery will be good. And now this Enderman is sort of turning the tide. TNT comes out. Will it actually be effective?
Does get activated, but I believe Captain Falcon missed it just barely and launches Enderman to the other side. Minecart goes out, but it's just a little bit too high up. So now Boise State is back in the middle and manages to knock Enderman off the side, smacking him into the screen. It is now 2-1, Boise State's favor still. However, it is a long hill to climb there as Captain Falcon is almost in danger percentages, but is able to get the first hit on this new stock, launching
this Captain Falcon
off the side.
Actually destroys the minecart, grapples, throws, is smacking this Enderman, but now 105%, and we've seen how this has turned out for Diggle here on this Captain Falcon versus this Enderman. Against Texas Wesleyan in general, this TNT comes out, then Falcon will not actually get exploded. Has to recover on this ledge, though.
Yeah, giving the Enderman plenty of time to mine. He does have a diamond now, so they're going to want to be careful. He has the diamond sword. Could get some dangerous damage out if he tries. And he is able to knock Captain Falcon into the air. We are now at last stock for Boise State. It is completely tied here as Captain Falcon is trying to get a couple attacks off, gets hit by the minecart, so he isn't quite able to follow up that counter. However, the Enderman is now at 100%. It is now very dangerous here. Boise State just needs a really solid attack off the side and deny him the recovery with the Electro.
Grapple throw.
Oh, no! Unfortunately for Boise State, they fall off the side and aren't quite able to recover, allowing Texas Wesleyan to get the advantage for the first time in this set of matches.
I don't know if that was a mistake by the Captain Falcon or if that was excellent gameplay by that Enderman/Steve Minecraft character. In the end, Diggle will fall, and now actually Texas Wesleyan will take a lead, and now it is the last bastion, as we have mentioned. Leodog probably on this King DDD coming in. Will this Kirby character be able to take out the Minecraft character? That is the question.
Yeah, what do you think? I mean, he is a very powerful character, and what do you think? How do you think Leodog will do against this Steve with good old King DDD?
I think King DDD will actually be pretty successful against this Steve Enderman character. I gotta pick one. I'm just gonna say, because it says Enderman wins, so I'm gonna say Enderman.
It works. It's what's on screen.
It will, yep. Just a heavier character and kind of, has those spikes. And so doesn't actually have to get doesn't actually have to get very close to this Enderman to do a lot of damage. And that means also can be very effective in the ledge guarding.
Yeah, no, Leodog is a beast with the good old King DDD, and this, although Enderman is a very good agitator character and has a lot of, just good poke abilities and just random stuff, things that you just don't always expect to see that are, Minecraft stuff like the magma block and the lava on the ground and the minecarts, but King DDD is a very strong character who has some decent abilities, especially for getting people off ledge, which seems to be the best strategy right now for getting Enderman. As long as you can get him far enough off ledge and deny his recovery, or just get him high enough up in percentages, since he's such a light character, once he gets to like 140, it's just one good hit off the side and he's good, which is something that Leodog is really good at, especially with King DDD because he's just such a powerhouse character.
Yep, just spam out those spikes and hope one of them hits, as it looks like we are about to get into this matchup very soon. And I am excited to see if somebody can defeat this absolute menace of a character.
Good old King DDD. I like how it's funny, we talk about the People Z a lot because we just see Captain Falcon a lot. However, DDD, I feel like, although it's the last match, I feel like, you know, there's got to be something for him. I mean, he is kind of, like we've said, he's the last bastion for them. He just always, whenever he comes in, like, yeah, they're down for the count, but he always delivers in some way. And they might not always win, but he does at least fight hard and to the end.
And that's all you got to do, is you just got to fight hard until the end. King DDD versus Enderman. This is the part where you got to have that song, the versus Mass DDD, start playing. That one that sounds really epic, as we have some stock resets. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Haven't played a lot of Kirby, but
Haven't played
game.
a lot of Kirby.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting because it is, you know, for Texas Wesleyan, they have one more character left, so now they have to get through the Enderman here, as he does manage to get a couple really solid attacks off on King DDD to start with the minecart. As DDD tries to get back in, he's just getting knocked side to side, but the minecart doesn't quite go through. DDD tries to launch some spikes at him, but he's just hiding, trying to mine away. Ooh. Nice hit through the Minecraft blocks, though.
Yep, and spikes coming through. Minecart will just do damage, does not actually find contact. But now this King DDD is already at 101%. This Enderman is playing like such a rat, and actually will knock out this King DDD, and now Boise State is down to 2 stocks in this best of first round, and this Enderman is just doing such a great job of just zoning.
Just keeping DDD on his toes right now, but DDD is able to get a swallow on a spike and launch it towards him. Ooh, he does get hit by a minecart. That's kind of dangerous. He's now at 100% with Enderman at about 70. Still not quite in the danger zone for Enderman. Trying to avoid the TNT right now so he doesn't get blown up. Giving Enderman plenty of time to just mine away and try to upgrade his gear.
Has that diamond equipped now. And that is very dangerous. And this, oh, what was that?
Oh my gosh. Oh no, not the grab off the mine, like the block, just really effective there. It's now 1-1. It is heavily in Texas Wesleyan's favor right now, as it is now up to DDD to try and keep this one stock and knock Enderman out as quickly as possible.
This Enderman is doing such a fantastic job.
Oh!
And as I say that, well, actually get knocked out, but now
it is one stock.
One stock for the Broncos here against the Rams in this
You can see DDD sweating there in the victory screen. He knew how hard that one was.
Yeah, I'm sweating. That was...
Oh my gosh. Oh, the grab and the hit off the Minecraft block. That was such an unfortunate stock loss for DDD. But luckily for them, they do get to go into the last character, which will be really important. Like, regardless of how this round goes, this is really good for them to gain information. Because as we've been talking about, we don't know who this mystery player is. We don't know what they're going to be playing. We were pretty sure that Steve, Gannon, and Falcon would show up. They've been pretty consistent.
Steve,
but
Gannon,
we're not
Falcon.
sure who this is going to be.
Maybe Cloud.
Maybe Cloud.
Maybe King K. Rool. Those are my two speculations, insider information that I've heard, or maybe I'm going to be completely wrong and it's going to be something like,
I mean, we have we have no idea. Regardless of that, though, it is really good for them to kind of get that out of the way and see, like, what it could be, because if Boise State loses this one, it's just information for the next round, which is always helpful, and if they win, then it's still information for them to go through and to be able to just more effectively deal with the team as a whole this time around.
And I will say that Texas Wesleyan has definitely powered up since the last time that the Broncos have faced them. They have, especially that Enderman, they've been playing pretty excellently. They've been going tit for tat, just back and forth against Boise State.
Yeah. I think Boise State like overall just was a lot more effective with their stocks. It was closer to like 2 stocks to like between them instead of this 1-to-1 that we've been having like you're talking about. Who do you think is like, I don't know, out of you mentioned Cloud and King K. Rool, which would you rather see?
See in terms of like entertainment factor or like for either team, because if you're Texas Wesleyan, I think you just go with the King K rule. You just have
Heavy character
heavy character versus heavy character, battle it out, battle of who can just play it out better. I mean, obviously Cloud, you have those like limit breaks and all that stuff, but
against like some heavier characters like DDD, that might not be the best because
Yeah.
although you deal a lot of damage with limit break, you also are dealing with a heavy character who just takes that and laughs, and he's like, I eat heavy damage for breakfast. Like, that's just a thing for, like, almost every heavy character, especially when played with a skilled player who knows how to recover really well. And so it'll definitely be interesting to see. I've been playing a little bit more of Cloud recently, too. And, I mean, he's a lot of fun, but he's also kind of hard to, like, play. Like, his abilities aren't always the best for that, especially with, as we've been talking about with Leodog and DDD, just the spikes everywhere. And so King K. Rool might deal a little bit better just because he is a heavy character. He's got some armor. He's got the crown.
Yep, and more importantly, well, actually, I was going to say more importantly for the Broncos, there are no annoying blocks.
That's true.
There are no annoying blocks to block the spikes, to block you from getting close, and it is actually
Incineroar.
Incineroar.
Oh my goodness, it's my boy.
It's your
He's
boy.
my favorite. I love playing Incineroar. Okay, I know not everyone likes the wrestling cat, but I think he's cool. I love playing Sun and Moon, so when I heard he was going to be in Smash Bros, I like playing him. He is hard to play though, like, or at least I found his up special could be really frustrating. So as we get into the match, this very interesting matchup there. King DDD manages to get the first hit in, but Incineroar is able to fire back with just barely a percentage between them. Going back and forth here. Ooh, he does get the swallow, though, into a spike. Oh, but it hits him as well.
Yeah, and this is the thing that is very, very worrying for the Broncos now, because already at 73, 88%, it doesn't matter if you take any stocks off because all Texas Wesleyan has to do is get one stock, and that is it. So you cannot really go even in these damages. But this will be one stock taken off already, so maybe this King DDD will be able to pull it off as his spike actually gets deflected. Once again, recovery means that the deflect will not come in, but now this is so dangerous for the Broncos.
Another whirlwind attack from Incineroar there. He tries to go in for the grab, but BSU sees it and knocks a spike in his direction, knocking him off balance. Ooh, he tries to hit him again, but he deflects it. Deflecting DDD off the stage. He's now at 157%. That is a dangerous spot for him against Incineroar as he gets knocked off the side. Giving the first match of 3, our best of 3 here, to Texas Wesleyan.
So, Texas Wesleyan put up a very good showing in this first time around against the Broncos. Will make them go down 0-1. They just have to win another one if they are going to take this final series. Boise State would have to win 2 in a row, take those 24 stocks. And this is going to be, it looks like we're going to have a barn burner on our hands because this has been very close.
Oh, yeah, it'll be interesting to see, like, now that we understand the matchups a little bit better and, like, what's going on, if it continues with the same trend of the just one stock between them, or if one team manages to take it away and, like, steamroll it. Because sometimes that happens, like, sometimes the first match will be really close, but then something with morale or just, like, mojo, like, how people are playing, it just kind of changes, and then it'll just completely change the way the games go, which is kind of interesting to see at just, like, such a high skill level of play. But going into this, do you think there's anything Boise State needs to change to be able to get a little bit more of an advantage against Texas Wesleyan?
I think Boise State just needs to find a better way to deal with this Enderman, because that was really where the tides turned there. Obviously, they lost the lead, and actually Texas Wesleyan managed to get quite a bit of a lead. And so they just need to come back, they need to strategize, and they need to figure out how to deal with that.
Absolutely. And before we get into the next match, we are going to take a quick break and get in just so that way both teams can reset. And so we'll see you in a little bit after this break.
NationalGuard.com to begin your guard adventure.
Here are a couple lessons I've learned over the years. Friendships come in all shapes and sizes. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
There are things we do for each other. Not because we're told. Not because someone asked. Just because we're in this together. And it's the nice thing to do. Idaho Central Credit Union. Giving back is what membership is all about.
Visit NationalGuard.com to begin your guard adventure.
Here are a couple lessons I've learned over the years. Friendships come in all shapes and sizes. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
There are things we do for each other. Not because we're told. Not because someone asked. Just because we're in this together. And it's the nice thing to do. Idaho Central Credit Union. Giving back is what membership is all about.
Visit NationalGuard.com to begin your guard adventure.
Here are a couple lessons I've learned over the years. Friendships come in all shapes and sizes. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
There are things we do for each other. Not because we're told. Not because someone asked. Just because we're in this together. And it's the nice thing to do. Idaho Central Credit Union. Giving back is what membership is all about.
NationalGuard.com to begin your guard adventure.
Here are a couple lessons I've learned over the years. Friendships come in all shapes and sizes. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
There are things we do for each other. Not because we're told. Not because someone asked. Just because we're in this together. And it's the nice thing to do. Idaho Central Credit Union. Giving back is what membership is all about.
Visit NationalGuard.com to begin your guard adventure.
Here are a couple lessons I've learned over the years. Friendships come in all shapes and sizes. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
There are things we do for each other. Not because we're told. Not because someone asked. Just because we're in this together. And it's the nice thing to do. Idaho Central Credit Union. Giving back is what membership is all about.
Visit NationalGuard.com to begin your guard adventure.
Here are a couple lessons I've learned over the years. Friendships come in all shapes and sizes. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
There are things we do for each other. Not because we're told. Not because someone asked. Just because we're in this together. And it's the nice thing to do. Idaho Central Credit Union. Giving back is what membership is all about.
Welcome back to the Boise State Esports Arena as we continue our coverage of the NACE Star League West Central Conference Finals. It's Boise State versus Texas Wesleyan. Texas Wesleyan is currently up 1 against Boise State, so it is a best of 3, which means we now have 2 more games potentially to see where it goes as we are about to get into the match. I believe we are getting really close to it, and
it looks like we actually already are into the match, and it looks like we have. Yep. Ken, I think it was Ken versus Ganondorf.
Similar to the
yes,
first round.
Yeah, basically the same. And we'll just have to see who actually manages to get the advantage here.
Yeah, as we get into it, we can see that Ken already has the advantage. Boise State has managed to take 90% on Ganondorf as he tries to ledge guard, but isn't quite able to. Dodges the Ganondorf's powerful attack and knocks him to the other side, as Ganondorf is now just shielding, looking for his opportunity to take some damage on Ken.
Hadouken's just coming out, but not actually finding anything.
Ooh,
oh!
The sword came out for Ganondorf, getting the first stock off on Boise State here. However, Ganondorf is in a dangerous spot, allowing Boise State there to even it up. It is now 2-2 in this crew battle against Texas Wesleyan.
Yep, full reset here. Basically, same percentages, but now this Ganondorf actually finding kind of a few powerful hits, and now going to try and ledge guard, but that uppercut will be pretty good at making sure the recovery is successful. But now this Ganondorf will get grappled, will get tossed, will actually be able to recover, but now this Ken has to be careful. Ganondorf can be so scary. Gets a nice hit. Hadouken coming through. Shoryuken. Just lots of powerful. Just lots of attacks coming through, but not really any of them finding contact here.
Yeah, Boise State is now at a dangerous percentage. At 105%, Ken is in a dangerous spot for Ganondorf. If he gets his hands on him, he could knock out his next stock. But Boise State is having none of that. Gets the next hit off on Texas Wesleyan, taking Ganondorf's stock. It is now Boise State's advantage. Ganondorf is at 1 stock and already goes off the ledge there, having to be very careful in his recovery. Both shielding, waiting for their opportunities, but Ken is just not backing down, launching a flurry of blows, launching Ganondorf into the sky there.
Yeah, that was a nice combo. However, this Ganondorf is still only at about 66%. Just spamming the Hadoukens, the spin kick, and now it looks like we might have a little bit of ledge guarding, but Ganondorf will be able to recover. Actually, Shield is playing around this ledge. I think this Ganondorf is trying to bait the Ken into getting KO'd here. 120%.
Oh.
And now it will be evened up. However, the Broncos will have the advantage going in here. Ken will not drop down quite yet.
Ken is just now waiting in the middle, does not want to get near the ledge with Ganondorf, but he does launch him off the side, trying to follow it up with Hadouken. As Ganondorf now comes in, manages to get a couple powerful attacks off, as Ken is able to dodge a nasty kick from him there.
However, this Ganondorf is getting a nice bit of poke damage. The sword will not actually find contact. 125%.
Oh.
And the Shoryuken comes through. And this is looking like a kind of a repeat of last time around. However, it is still only the first character for Texas Wesleyan. And again, this Ken only has 1 stock. So things are feeling very familiar here for the Broncos.
Yeah, the question, of course, will be who his next opponent is, as they can switch up where people are, if I remember correctly. You can switch up where people are in the order. You can't always switch up players unless you specifically state it in between rounds. So now that we've seen a very similar startup there from Ken versus Ganon, with Ken coming out on top, giving Boise State 1 stock, who do you think we might see next? You think we're going to go straight into the... Was it Steve or Falcon?
I think it was Falcon.
I think it was Falcon, too.
It was Falcon. I think Steve was the last character,
yeah,
right?
Because it was...
Or Steve was the second to last.
Because it went Ken, Falcon, Ken out, Falcon to Falcon, right? Or no, it was Joker to Falcon.
Yeah.
Joker to Falcon, yes. So now we're going to see...
And Incineroar was the last character. So I think we're just going to see Falcon again.
Yeah, probably.
Probably just getting this Ken out. However, Boise State would be very happy if they could take at least like 1 stock. Very happy if they could take 2.
It would give them a good advantage against them going into the next round, especially it's always good to get as many stocks off as possible, especially as we saw with the last round in the matchups. It ended up going in Texas Wesleyan's favor when they were going to 1-1. So as soon as Boise State can like increase that advantage, kind of create a difference between the last couple matches and just rounds between the characters, it'll be a big deal. What do you think that they should change up in this for Ken here in this next round, especially if he goes up against the Falcon again this time?
I think this Ken just has to, spam out those Hadoukens, just get those uppercuts whenever possible. That was the thing that was basically able to get him every single KO in the last round, and even against like this Ganondorf too. You just have to avoid this Captain Falcon. You cannot get close to him, which I know, doing an uppercut and also not getting close to the Captain Falcon are kind of contradictory.
Two brawler characters,
contradictory statement, but I don't know. I think you just got to keep on playing very excellently as this Ken, which we've seen here for the Broncos.
I mean, as we've talked about with Doc's keys and just in general, you've always got to be looking for the opportunities, which is what you're talking about there. Ken doesn't want to necessarily get next to Falcon when he's going with a Falcon punch or just a powerful grab attack, as we've seen. That is some of Falcon's deadliest weapons. But if he can get a solid opportunity where the Falcon is off guard, that uppercut is going to be his path to victory. So if that's not the case, though, do you think maybe he'll face the Steve, which would be... I would suck, but what do you think is going to be the biggest challenge for dealing with the Enderman going forward, or Steve? Whatever we want to call him this
Everything?
time.
Everything. But, I mean, if you want to pick out one specific thing, I think just those blocks. Those blocks, you have to play so well against those blocks. Obviously, we saw a throw attack where it bounced off, knocked him straight down off the stage. But also those blocks, just getting the Enderman time to get materials, get the diamond store, and it looks like we have Incineroar versus Ken.
So we're going to go with the final character from Texas Wesleyan last game is now going to be their second character. So it's going to be an interesting matchup as Boise State was rallying right before this, has to reset their stocks here. Incineroar is just going to taunt and wait, show off his wrestling abilities. Taunt one more time before going off the side. And we're now ready to begin the match.
Yeah, just lost the taunts. The Hadouken will find first contact, 2%. It is a victory here for the Broncos.
However, they're going to have to be careful because Incineroar did absorb the damage there, allowing him to get a very powerful grapple attack there. As he's going to get another one, get a good hit off on Ken. Now 56%. Against this Incineroar. Does manage to land a couple attacks, though, off the ledge.
Yeah, did not know I was watching the WWE here. It looks like the Incineroar is just spamming this throw. Oh, it just seems to be working out so well. This Ken is at 90% here. And now Texas Wesleyan seems to have an advantage coming in here. This Ken might not actually be able to find a stock if this Incineroar, it just keeps on going at this current trajectory, would be able to actually even it up here.
A little bit of lag there, but Ken does manage to find some purchase, tries to launch Incineroar off the side, but isn't quite able to, as he now is just kind of dancing in between, does not want to get caught near the ledge right now, as it is he is starting to get into knockable percentages there. Gonna guard the ledge, manages to dodge it just barely and roll past him. However, Incineroar knocks him off the side once again, absorbing the blow for another powerful damage boost, but doesn't quite find the purchase he needs to knock Boise State off the side.
160% here, but now this Incineroar is getting high as well, but it looks like that leg will just come through, kick Ken off the stage, and so it will be evened up here. 9 stocks to 9 stocks in this second round of the best of 3, and we'll have to see what each team, comes up with. Obviously, we've seen the Incineroar, so that will be the second character for Texas Wesleyan. And we will see what the Broncos pull out.
Yeah. What do you think? I actually noticed quite a few differences between how Incineroar was playing against DDD versus playing against Ken, where we didn't really see the volley wrestling move last time, and we saw a lot of spins reflecting the spikes. Now we just saw that constantly. So do you think that's was kind of throwing Boise State for a loop, or do you think there was something else that just helped Incineroar kind of prevent Ken from taking a stock from him there?
Well, obviously, they pulled Incineroar out from the last character to the second character, probably specifically to deal with this Ken, they absorb the Hadouken, and then you have a lot of damage, and then obviously you just throw Ken around, and then once he's high percentage, you just knock him off the stage, and that seemed to be the plan. And so I think then Incineroar really just did come in to make sure this Ken did not get any more stocks.
Yeah, so we've talked a lot about, like before we started up the matches, we talked a lot about lineups, right, and how important it is to carefully choose and swap where they are. Do you think this is going to benefit Texas Wesleyan in the long run to switch up like this, or do you think it might actually, if we get Incineroar out of the way, do you think that might end up helping them out?
I think this actually will be good for Texas Wesleyan. Obviously, we've seen that this Incineroar, whoever is playing Incineroar for Texas Wesleyan knows what they're doing. And this might be, the ability to just take more stocks off, as I'm awaiting to see who the Broncos will actually put in against the Rams in this next character. But I just think it will be Texas Wesleyan coming in maybe with an advantage if they can just take more stocks, because I think this Incineroar is just a menace, and obviously you like seeing your character being played.
As much as I love Boise State, but I'm struggling right now. I love that cat. He is my main when I play Smash Bros. I love messing around with him. However, of course, if Boise State wants to actually be able to defeat them, they're going to want to follow Doc's keys to the games. And as always, in Super Smash Bros., you need to punish those openings, look for those 2 frames, win in the neutral, and don't forget to taunt. Smash Bros. Is all about those opportunities, and we've been seeing a ton of that tonight already. And as always, Doc's keys to the game are brought to you by Drop-In Gaming. Drop-In Gaming is the premier online platform for gamers who seek competition. Play your favorite games to win cash and prizes in both free and paid entry events and tournaments. Whether you are new to the scene or a seasoned veteran, Drop-In Gaming has the right games and competition for you.
And it looks like we actually have Diggle coming up, so that will be the Captain Falcon probably coming in against this Incineroar. I think that's anybody's matchup. I really don't know what to say in terms of, like, who will do this, because it really just comes down to who plays better, I think.
They're definitely both powerhouse characters. Like, they both have some really strong abilities, and I think what is going to be instrumental for Captain Falcon is going to be his ability to manage not letting Incineroar get his damage increase buff from getting attacked. Because if he can do that, then it'll prevent Incineroar from really getting any nasty damage off on him. However, we are going to get into the match. There's no stock resets as we get right into it with both players trying to go in for some intense attacks, trading blows. BSU was able to get the advantage here, though, and get 70% of damage, knocking Incineroar off for a quick first stock for Boise State.
And already, I don't know if you can hear this in my mic, but the Boise State Smash players are yelling, they were screaming at that stock take, and now this is looking already much better than against this Ken. It is only the first stock, though, so there are 2 more to go for this Captain Falcon if he wants to take out this character.
Yeah, 74% for Boise State, not quite in knockable, like, ring out percentages yet. However, Incineroar is trying his best to launch him into the air as Captain Falcon is just looking for his opportunities here, able to get a little bit of poke damage off. Now trying to launch Incineroar off the side. Incineroar recovers quickly, trying to not get hit, but he does get 75%. And now Captain Falcon is launched off the side. Incineroar is trying to ledge guard, just not let him get up. But Boise State does manage to get away, not without taking some damage first.
This Captain Falcon already is playing very excellently against this Incineroar, just making sure there's not a lot of damage coming through, dodging that spin attack. But it looks like the stocks will be evened up. Again, this Captain Falcon is just playing on a nice edge, and it seems to be working out. And now this is a full stock up against this Incineroar. This Captain Falcon is doing wonders against this Incineroar, and this Incineroar cannot find anything. Texas Wesleyan, they are looking for damage, and they are just not able to find it quite yet.
Yeah, it is super intense now. Boise State has managed to take 2 stocks quickly just from good combos from Captain Falcon here with Texas Wesley, and now at 80%, it's just very easy for Boise State here to grab the combo, as Texas Wesleyan is now just trying their best to prevent him from getting an opening. He's now at 100%. We're getting near the danger zone as he now launches Captain Falcon up into the sky, trying to just keep him away, keep him at an arm's length, so that way he can get as much percentage off and potentially a stock. However, we get a solid attack from Captain Falcon as he knocks him off the side, giving Boise State the advantage, a 2-stock advantage now.
2-stock advantage, yeah. This Incineroar, I spoke too soon. This Incineroar just got completely dog-walked. I hate to say it. But Diggle on this Captain Falcon just played so excellently, was not providing any single opportunity for this Incineroar to charge up, to throw. You know, obviously there were throws, but didn't really get that high of the percentages in order for this Incineroar to be able to, you know, really threaten anything.
No, and when he saw that opportunity, he took it. Like, every time, like, for those first 2 stocks, he just grabbed him, threw him off the side, and immediately followed up with the counterattack, which just ended up going in Boise State's favor because Captain Falcon was able to quickly just throw him off the side, get the stock, and just keep going. And, like, you know, Texas Wesleyan was really not able to keep up for a little bit, only managing to take 1 stock off of Boise State. So now, for the first time this match, we've actually seen the 2-stock advantage. So now we're going into Captain Falcon, which means we've got 2 characters left for Texas Wesleyan to throw out at him. Who do you think it's going to be next? Think it's going to be Steve?
I think it's going to be Steve.
Probably Steve. Steve
Probably
was definitely a challenge for... Did Captain Falcon face him last time?
I don't remember.
I don't remember, but if it's definitely going to be a challenge, as Steve is just very good at zoning, especially melee characters who just don't have a lot of options for getting any ranged attacks off, so it's going to be an interesting matchup if that's the case. But then we do have our other option as well, the Falcon. It could be a Falcon versus Falcon fight, which is always interesting, and we've seen a couple of times, and it could go either way. What do you think, though?
If it is Falcon versus Falcon... okay, I was going to make a bird pun, but I'm not going to make a bird pun. You know, the talons are going to come out or something like that. But
which people's knee will be stronger? That is the question.
That is, yes. I mean, mirror matchups are always fun because you kind of get to see who is the better player.
It's true, because it's less about the character and more about who can more effectively use the character. Though in a crew battle, it's interesting because... in this case, it would be 1 person with 2 stocks and 1 person with 3 stocks, so it's not completely even. However, if Boise State did manage to beat the other Falcon, that's just another, like, nail in the coffin for just how, like, I guess skill-wise, who would be better. And it looks like we're going in, though, and it's not going to be the Falcon versus Falcon.
No.
We're going to
Noah's
favorite character, Steve.
Well, it's not Steve, it's the Enderman, but it's all the same. Yep, and then we have the stock reset, and we will actually get to see if this Captain Falcon can threaten this Enderman. Oh, fire's just coming through, and this is looking so brutal already. Oh my goodness, make it stop.
Yeah, Boise State already at 56%, but Captain Falcon immediately follows that up, getting Enderman in the 60s. They're staying even right now, just trying to get the advantage on the other as a Minecraft cart goes out, hitting Falcon, followed with an uppercut and just combo attack as he tries to knock him off the side. Boise State isn't quite able to get the advantage they need, as we're both just hanging out at a little bit under 100% right now.
Oh, that TNT is so dangerous. This Enderman is actually caught sleeping on the crafting table, but it will actually be able to recover. Somehow is still not knocked, but isn't actually able to make the recovery. The ledge guard will be successful. This is already 1 stock taken off, so this is looking good for this Captain Falcon, even if he cannot completely take all the stocks off.
Yeah, Captain Falcon is at 115% now, getting in dangerous zone as just... Enderman does not care, just mining away, knocking him off the side, just trying to keep him at an arm's length. But BSU is trying to push in right now, dodges a minecart. Ooh, but gets hit by the anvil, knocking him out. Now with only 1 stock, Boise State's got an uphill battle with this 2 stocks for Texas Wesleyan.
Yeah, getting hit by the anvil, that's pretty metal. But...
every time.
every time.
Oh, and just like that pun... and the anvil falling flat there, Boise State is knocked out with Enderman able to take the win. Not without losing a stock, however, though. So I do believe that Boise State still in the lead.
Yeah, 1 stock advantage. So, but I don't know if Boise State feels comfortable against this Enderman with only a 1 stock lead. Again, they went into this Enderman last time around with a 1 stock lead, and that turned, I believe, into a 2 stock advantage.
Yeah, it did. Last time,
Texas
Enderman
Wesleyan
just went, oh, that's a fun lead you have there, and just completely turned it on them. This Steve has Enderman. Keep messing it up. It's fine. It doesn't really matter. He's been quite the menace for Boise State, which means now Boise State has 2 options for dealing. Is it 2? I'm
2
losing
options.
count. Yeah.
There are 2 more characters.
Yes, there are 2. I'm right. Joker. That's who I was forgetting. Joker. Yes, we have 2 more options, Joker and DDD, to deal with Steve. Who do you think they're going to pull out for this? I mean, we haven't really seen one character who's been able to fully get, the advantage over him so far. It's just been kind of a slow whittling down of his stocks over time.
I don't think there's any really discussion at this point for strategy of which character is the best. You just gotta pray and hope that you get the percentages high enough, or you manage to get a play where this Enderman is not able to recover. Like we saw that stock taken up, wasn't actually able to find the ledge, and that meant that the Captain Falcon was able to just keep on punching, got this, got that stock, and obviously got taken out, and it's just so hard to see how the Broncos can sort of strategize against this. They just kind of really have to I don't know. I don't know how you play against Enderman and in terms of characters or character selection. You really just gotta be able to lock down that character, get him high enough in percentages, and, knock him off the stage. Easier said than done, but that's really... Is that what I think it is?
And there's the Sephiroth as we're going into it. We're going to go... Boise State's going to switch up a character here against Enderman, which it might be what they need, though from previous battles it could be dangerous as well, as he's very good at preventing the katana from actually getting anywhere near him. As we go into it, Boise State gets hit by a couple minecarts there, as they're trying to just prepare and get an attack off.
And we see the Sephiroth coming through, and so far it looks like this Enderman is still managing to find a lot of damage. The minecarts will not be successful this time around, but these tools are just coming through, and this Enderman doesn't even have to really play that well in terms of tricking. If you can just keep on attacking the Sephiroth, will get knocked down. And now actually the Minecraft block will be used against this Enderman, but again, the Sephiroth is already almost 100%.
Yeah, solid attack there from the Sephiroth, knocking him back. Unfortunately, Enderman retaliates, knocking him away, allowing him to get some time to mine and get the gold bar. Not the best item in the world for him, but it does increase his damage for a little bit. Sephiroth tries to get some poke damage as he's recovering, but it's not enough. We are now at a very dangerous position for Sephiroth. He's at 120%. It's definitely doable for Enderman. However, as he tries to knock him off, he's barely saved by the wall that Enderman put up himself. However, any hit could be the end of the game right now, as he's just trying to zone him away from the ledge. Enderman does manage to get up and shield, tries to throw a minecart and an anvil down, trying to hopefully just psych out Sephiroth, but it's not where he needs, and he launches him off the side once again.
The Enderman isn't actually able to recover. So even though the Sephiroth is at 170%, they are going to be feeling happy that they finally took a stock off of this Enderman. The piston will just knock Sephiroth off, but now it is basically a full reset here. 1 stock, Boise State still having the advantage here, and they just got to prevent this Enderman from mining.
Sephiroth managed to get off one of his timed attacks there, and it deals a decent amount of damage, giving Boise State the lead, as the Enderman is just trying his best to mine in peace, but he's not really given any option, as Sephiroth's long sword is just allowing him to keep out of range and just keep zoning him away from the ledge. Enderman barely dodging that attack, launches Sephiroth into the air and off the side.
Oh, that's that shield on the bunch of slashes. And again, this Enderman doesn't even have to really do that much. If he can just attack with those tools and do a lot of percentage damage, that makes things so much more difficult. This Enderman will get knocked onto the ledge. The Sephiroth is just slashing and dashing, takes out the crafting table, will actually get mine-carted, but will not get hit by the follow-up, which gives Boise State an opportunity to maybe threaten for a stock here.
Ooh, another stock is taken from Boise State. It is down to the wire as the Enderman is at very high percentages, but is not quite out of it yet, trying to avoid the thing and barely manages to get off the ledge. But Boise State times an attack and is able to take the match, giving Boise State the advantage once again, but it is very close.
Yeah, so that was, I believe, Kecking with the Sephiroth.
Yeah, switched from Joker to Sephiroth, allowing Boise State to get the advantage they need to take Steve Enderman out of the ring there with the long-ranged katana, as well as just some of the really good ranged attacks that Sephiroth does have.
And I feel like that was kind of like climbing to the peak of the mountain for the Broncos, and now things should be probably at least a little bit easier.
It's a bit of a standoff now.
Now that that character has been taken out, that player has been taken out for Texas Wesleyan. Obviously, whoever on Texas Wesleyan is playing that character, props to you, bravo, for playing so well on that character to be able to be such a threat. And now I believe this means that we're going to see, what have we not seen? We didn't see Falcon.
It's Falcon, unless they change characters like Boise State. So, unless that is, though, it is Falcon. What do you think about the matchup between Sephiroth and Falcon? It's kind of interesting because it's actually one of those that it's not as cut and dry, like where it's player versus player. It actually is kind of hard for Falcon to deal with.
Yeah, Sephiroth can just, kind of poke out this Falcon. So I think it actually will be very good for Sephiroth unless Texas Wesleyan pulls out another character.
Yeah, what do you think is going to be like the clear, just thing that Sephiroth has to do here to actually be able to just kind of shut down Falcon?
Well, obviously, I always see this whenever you ask me about going against Captain Falcon. Don't let him touch you. And is Sephiroth with that very long blade, very powerful character to be able to deal with that.
And so it's going to be interesting, though. Sephiroth does have one stock against this Falcon, so if it is Falcon, and so it's going to be an interesting matchup to see. Obviously, Boise State has the advantage, and so it's going to be up to them to try and get as many stocks off of Falcon or whoever the character is before he knocks Sephiroth off, so that way they're just paving the way for Leodog or manage to take it. And it looks like it is going to be Falcon, as we're going to go into a quick stock reset here. Sephiroth's going to jump off the side twice as Falcon gets to show off a little bit with his taunts. We're going to go to Final Destination here as Falcon gets the first hits off, getting Sephiroth up to 20% and throwing him off the side. Tries to go in for another attack to launch him down, but isn't quite able to, and instead launches him into the air.
So far, this Sephiroth has not been able to dodge very much damage from this Captain Falcon. This Captain Falcon is just continuing to apply pressure, get onto Sephiroth. A little bit of damage will be done in retaliation, but that's it. And now this is going to come down to the 1v1 matchup. But at least this time around, it's 3 stocks to 3 stocks.
Yeah, and as you advised against, unfortunately for Boise State, they let Falcon get too near them, and he was able to get off his big, powerful attack, launching Sephiroth off the side there. So now it comes down to the wire. It is going to be good old Leodog, most likely playing DDD against Captain Falcon. What do you think about this matchup? Personally, I think it'll be pretty good for Leodog. It's another character that he's pretty good at zoning because he has the spikes, and Captain Falcon is going to have to be very wary of just making sure that he doesn't let those hit him, especially any bounce attacks. As we saw with Incineroar, those were pretty nasty, especially for not only Incineroar, but also Leodog a couple times there.
Yeah. I think it actually will be good for King DDD as well, again, being a heavy character. And with those spikes, Captain Falcon doesn't really have any tricks up his sleeve. His whole shtick is that he has very powerful attacks, but he doesn't really have anything tricky about him, like Enderman, who has a bazillion items he can craft, can drop lava on you, can drop fire on you, magma blocks, just the whole shebang. And so I think this really will just come down to whether this King DDD can just throw out those spikes, smack him into Captain Falcon, or if this Captain Falcon can dodge those and just kind of, punch and kick this King DDD.
Yeah, and this will be an interesting final, round for this match. After all, if Boise State does win this, then we're not done just yet, because it is a best of 3, which means Boise State's going to have to come back one more time, or Texas Wesleyan will be able to take it from them. So however this ends, it's either going to end in immediate defeat for the Broncos, or one more opportunity for both teams to try and take it and get the final cup. After all, this is the last match of this conference, so it's kind of nice that it's not like cut and dry here. We're getting some very intense gameplay, and it's going to be a big deal for whoever wins, especially for Boise State. This is the first year that the Smash Bros. Program has existed, so to get this far and to potentially win is a huge deal for them.
Yep, Broncos aren't out quite yet, and they definitely would want to take this round. But again, it's just going to come down to 3 stocks on either side to even it up or take it for Texas Wesleyan. Texas Wesleyan would definitely want to take the game. Obviously, you want to win. And so I think it would be very defining for them if they were to be able to take down the Broncos, who have done so well so far in this division, in this conference, to come back kind of in this playoffs game, in the finals, and kind of demonstrate that they are a force to be reckoned with. But again, we don't know until these final 3 stocks from either side.
So as we get into it, we are going to see the King DDD versus Captain Falcon. It is a clean match here. No stocks are going to be going out, so we're going to go right into it as both of them kind of get hit by the stock in a couple attacks there. Captain Falcon getting the advantage to begin with as DDD tries to throw out a couple of attacks, manages to hit a spike, and gets the advantage here as Falcon is forced into just a shield and retreat.
We see kind of even poke damage from both sides here. And King DDD is going to just, try and spam out those spikes, but the Captain Falcon actually counters him, shoots it back at the King DDD. The ledge guard will not be successful. The King DDD is able to make recovery. And now these are both characters getting into pretty dangerous territory here. As Captain Falcon maybe will actually be able to make a successful ledge guard this time around. King DDD goes down to go back up to try and juke out the Captain Falcon, but the bait is not taken. That spike comes through, and now this is very dangerous for both sides.
Ooh. Captain Falcon was almost knocked out of the ring, but luckily he was launched to a spot that allowed him to recover as DDD is now desperately trying to get in a hit. He just needs one good throw as he launches him to the side, tries to follow up with a spike. Falcon manages to dodge it and gets a hit on DDD as well. They are both in dangerous percentages. Luckily for DDD, though, a spike manages to land, giving him the first stock of the game.
And now this King DDD will probably get taken out as I say that, yep. So now it is basically stock reset, 2 stocks to 2 stocks. And now this is, again, it's anybody's game on the Pokemon Arena as we have the battle of the characters here. This Captain Falcon is just shielding these spikes, is not really taking the bait. And now we have basically even percentages here. The ledge guard will not find anything, but now this Captain Falcon is finding a pretty good combo. Will actually not dodge the spike though. And now this King DDD is finding some pretty good damage, but again, it's just even on both sides here.
Yeah, both of them are just evenly matched here as Leodog and DDD is trying to just knock him as back and forth as much as possible as Captain Falcon keeps dodging to the side. Manages to knock the Falcon off the side, tries to ledge guard, does manage to knock him away again, tries to go for the commit there, but is not able to get him off. Captain Falcon is now in dangerous percentages once again, though, as he's just trying to wait for his opportunity. Gets a belly drop on him, though. Texas Wesleyan is now down to 1 stock, with Boise State taking the advantage here, though it is dangerous with DDD at 96%.
Yeah, it was belly drop onto the spike right there to just knock this Captain Falcon off the stage. And again, King DDD, even 120%, still has a bit of percentage to work with. So you just want to use this stock to do as much damage as possible. And already this Captain Falcon up to 60%, 80% here.
Ooh, DDD tries to go in for the knockout, but is not able to get under the gets under the Captain Falcon, allowing him to recover as they're now dancing at the ledge. DDD trying to go for the swallow. Isn't quite able to go for it. Spike gets shielded, but he does manage to get an attack on Captain Falcon. However, Captain Falcon retaliates, knocking him off the side. luckily for DDD, he set up a spike on the ledge, preventing a recovery there for a second. Not before Captain Falcon manages to get an attack off, though.
Yeah, and oh.
We're getting close now.
This is close, but this is such an effective use of the stock here for this DDD. And now for Captain Falcon, you're sweating. And this means that this will be evened up. Boise State will take the second round, and now it is 1-1. It is evened up, and we're going into the final destination. I don't want to make a joke here, a pun, but basically the final destination in the fact that, you know, there are no more outs. You don't have any more room to play with if you're Texas Wesleyan or if you're Boise State. This is anybody's game. You're going to have to play this crew battle well. You're going to have to come back. You're going to have to strategize. If you're Boise State, you got to deal with this Enderman. And if you are Texas Wesleyan, you got to deal with this King DDD or Captain Falcon or just whatever character that they feel is giving them the most trouble. I feel like it's pretty evenly distributed. But for the Broncos, it is definitely taking care of that Enderman, taking those stocks off. And if they can overcome that hurdle, then they can definitely come back and win this 2-1.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of different strategies coming out here. Both teams have been swapping things up, trying to figure it out, and it seems to be that just the advantage keeps swaying back and forth. I mean, we haven't seen a huge difference in stock advantages. Boise State was really able to take this last match because they managed to get a lead on them, swap up some characters, and really just kind of set it up in a way, like as you talked about, getting the Enderman out of the way. So it's going to be interesting going into this final round of this best of 3, what strategies we're going to be able to employ for either team to actually be able to take home the win. And as we are getting ready for this final match, we are going to go into break one more time. So for those of you at home, sit tight. We're not going to leave you here. We're going to quickly go back, and we're just going to take a little bit of time for both of these teams to reset as we go into break.
Here are a couple lessons I've learned over the years. Friendships come in all shapes and sizes. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
Visit NationalGuard.com to begin your guard adventure.
There are things we do for each other. Not because we're told. Not because someone asked. Just because we're in this together. And it's the nice thing to do. Idaho's Central Credit Union. Giving back is what membership is all about. Idaho's Central Credit Union, looking after your daily balance.
Here are a couple lessons I've learned over the years. Friendships come in all shapes and sizes. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
Visit NationalGuard.com to begin your guard adventure.
There are things we do for each other. Not because we're told. Not because someone asked. Just because we're in this together. And it's the nice thing to do. Idaho's Central Credit Union. Giving back is what membership is all about. Idaho's Central Credit Union, looking after your daily balance.
Here are a couple lessons I've learned over the years. Friendships come in all shapes and sizes. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
Visit NationalGuard.com to begin your guard adventure.
Hello, everyone, and once again, welcome back to the Boise State Esports Arena as we finalize our coverage of the NACE Star League West Central Conference Finals with Boise State and Texas Wesleyan both at 1 match point. So we are currently in the final match. It's a best of 3, which means whoever manages to take the game wins the finals for this season. This is the last game that both of these teams will be playing for this conference. It is a big deal, and it has already been a very intense match. We've seen so many crazy moves thrown out, so many matchups and changes in tactics, and so we're going to be going into the final match just to see what each team is going to pull out for the best of the best.
And both of those matches actually came down to the final stock, or not the final stock, the final character for each team. And so this really just demonstrates that both of these teams are pretty evenly matched, and it can go either way. Obviously, it hasn't necessarily like been one for one throughout the characters. Yeah, and by that I mean like we've seen that the tides have turned whenever this Enderman comes out for the Texas Wesleyan. And then we also saw that this King DDD was just able to really effectively deal with this Captain Falcon and just take him out. And so I really don't have that much to say in terms of how each team is going to strategize. I think it's just going to come down to playing the percentages and kind of hoping that your attacks knock the opponent off the stage.
Oh, yeah, and it just goes to show how much both of these teams have improved and worked over this season, as they've already fought once before, and last time Boise State won, and it wasn't like, it was still a tough match, but it wasn't in the same way as it has been now. Texas Wesleyan has really improved, and it has definitely been taking the Broncos, not by surprise, but just at a lot, I think, more of an intensity that we weren't expecting from them. So now it's going to be really just up to, which, like you said, whichever team can manage their percentages and really just kind of just get the right matchups for both players, because as we've seen, some players have done better against other opponents, and so it'll really be up to what these final lineups are going to be for both teams going into it.
I do think that Boise State swapping from Joker to the Sephiroth was a good move, though. It managed to take some stocks off of the Enderman that were well needed, and so I will be curious to see if they keep the Sephiroth, if they keep the Joker, or if they switch back to Joker, or if they change to another character. But I don't think you really kind of experiment when your back is on the line, or a back is against the wall, you know, and your victory is on the line.
Yeah.
You kind of go with comfort.
Yeah, and once again, just to update and just make sure everyone remembers the rules, this is a 4-player crew battle, meaning that each player has 3 stocks, and when their stocks are taken out, they are swapped out for the next player. If you end the match with stocks remaining, you go back into the next match with whichever many amount of stocks you have left. So it's basically each team has 12 stocks, and so we just go until whichever team is out of their stocks. This is also a best of 3, and we are in the last match with both teams having 1 point to their name. So it's really just going to be up to this final area. And as we've talked about, 10-minute time limit, we really haven't hit that problem, so we're not really going to get there most likely unless both teams decide that they're just going to go at a snail's pace from now on.
And also alongside that, you need to watch out for Doc's keys to the game, which in Super Smash Bros. Are to punish openings, look for the 2-frame, win in neutral, and obviously don't forget to taunt, which both of these schools have been very, they have not forgotten about that. They have been taunting, you know, Captain Falcon saying, show me your moves. And I think that's actually the most important one.
Make sure you taunt, as always, tilts your opponent, make sure they know what's up, and it's just a good way to set a precedent. And in Smash Bros, it's really important to keep your cool. So, as always, Doc's keys to the game are brought to you by Drop-In Gaming. Drop-In Gaming is the premier online platform for gamers who seek competition. Play your favorite games to win cash and prizes in both free and paid entry events and tournaments. Whether you are new to the scene or a seasoned veteran, Drop-In Gaming has the right games and competitions for you.
And it looks like we will actually be getting into this match pretty quickly. I am excited to see who the starting lineups are here, because I think that can really set the momentum for either team, for Texas Wesleyan or for Boise State. And I'm just at a loss for words in terms of like how phenomenally both of these teams have been playing, you know, kind of like strategizing, picking certain characters, and kind of like swapping things around to make sure that, you know, they get the stocks that they need.
And previously, we saw that the first matchup was Ken versus Ganondorf, but it looks like we're going to be changing that up, and this time it's going to be Captain Falcon versus the Steve. Texas Wesleyan is really just going to go out with their big guns this time, and as we get into the match, Boise State is already managing to get some percentages off of the Enderman. However, he retaliates with a nasty anvil, putting Captain Falcon on the back foot there for a little bit.
Yep, and it looks like that they are just putting their best foot forward here, Texas Wesleyan. The Rams are just really going to try and use this Enderman to take as many stocks out as possible, but so far this Enderman has not been able to find very much time to craft or to mine, but this sword, even though it's wooden, is doing quite a bit of percentage damage here. And the piston and the fence coming through, and now this Enderman is just getting up to the usual shenanigans here, but maybe this will be short-lived for this stock at least.
Captain Falcon trying to ledge guard, but is knocked off by the Enderman, who tries to combo it, but luckily Captain Falcon saw through it, was able to jump past, gets a big attack off, putting them both around even percentages as we go back towards the middle of the stage. Enderman knocks him off the side and is able to craft a new sword, upgrading his damage. However, Captain Falcon is trying to keep him on the defensive as he gets knocked by a minecart, though. It is going to knock the Enderman off the side there as he tries to recover. Captain Falcon waits for him, but isn't quite able to get what he needs to get the stock loss.
And it looks like this Captain Falcon has been doing a lot more, a lot better against this Enderman than previously. This fire actually will finish off this stock, but now this Enderman is at 128%, 140%. And if this stock can get taken out, this will be a good start for the Broncos, just doing as much damage as possible. Somehow this Enderman is still alive, uses the minecart to recover. And now if you are this Captain Falcon, you just want to play this safely and you just want to take care of the stock.
Yeah, Captain Falcon trying to get a couple hits off. He keeps knocking him off the side, but the Enderman is hanging on strong, able to get a grab attack and a combo off on him, and finds a precious diamond, which might be a dangerous play for Boise State if they're not able to knock him out. However, as we're just, again, resetting, Captain Falcon has taken 40 damage here as we're nearing 200% for the Enderman. Another anvil comes out. He's trying to craft the diamond. Isn't quite able to get where he needs, though, as Captain Falcon is finally able to take the stock, launching him off the side. However, he's taken quite a lot of damage already.
Yeah, and already this Enderman has a diamond sword, which is not what you want to see if you are this Captain Falcon. Minecart comes through. The diamond pickaxe will hit. And already this Captain Falcon gets taken out, so already an early lead for Texas Wesleyan. This Enderman is already terrorizing this Captain Falcon. We'll see if this Captain Falcon can retaliate, though. It looks like there is some nice damage coming through, but this just lots of shields coming through. And this Captain Falcon is just having such a difficult time here.
Currently, Texas Wesleyan has the higher stock percentage, but it's getting closer as the Enderman is able to knock him off the bottom, taking the first match.
Yeah, and that Enderman really just kind of knocked that Captain Falcon like 4 times there to just really prevent any sort of recovery. So already a 2-stock advantage here for Texas Wesleyan on this Enderman. However, this has kind of been the power player here. And so if this character can get taken out, then the Broncos have a good chance to recover against the Rams. However, we will have to see if that is actually possible. We'll see how long this Enderman can actually last.
Yeah, and it's just going to really depend on what Boise State picks next for their character, obviously. Enderman has gone up against almost every single player now of Boise State, and so it's going to be key for Boise State to find the right character. Last time it was Sephiroth, so we'll see if they bring out that character again to just kind of try and take that 2-stock advantage away from Texas Wesleyan, but it's going to be close. I mean, as we've seen, like I've talked about, he's gone against all of them at this point, I think. Maybe not Ken, because Ken's always been fighting like the top 2 people, but it has been very hard for Boise State to counter this Enderman. So I think it really, like you talked about, just comes down to who they pick next and what their lineup's going to be. And if they do manage to take him out, I think it could be what Boise State needs to kind of just take the win here.
And I think we actually have a new character maybe coming in for Kecking, not the Sephiroth and not the Joker, but I don't want to speak too soon. I just see what I see on the TV. We'll see what stage we have. And I am just going, if this is another change-up, that would be so exciting, especially if it's kind of like an Uno reverse card or a trump card or something. And if it actually is able to take out this Enderman, I would be so impressed with the Broncos.
If it is a different character, what do you want to see? We've been talking a lot about the characters we've been seeing, so let's just try and throw some new names out. What do you want to see against Steve?
Against Steve? I don't know.
You don't know?
I'm at a loss for words whenever I see that character.
Can't think of any characters. What about, let's see. You talked about King K. Rool for Texas Wesleyan, but what about for Boise State?
I don't know. I feel like heavy characters against Steve, it's like you're so slow. Yeah, you can get powerful attacks. But then that just allows the Enderman to just, or Enderman Steve to just be able to smack you with those tools. And then that's just a lot of percentages. And then being a heavy character, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, definitely right now against this Enderman, he's just been, like, it doesn't really matter what character you've been playing, like light, heavy, just fast, slow. He's been just on you, and he's been able to just block them off. He's been able to do a lot of stuff, so he's a very dangerous opponent for Boise State right now as we're just trying to figure out our lineups here. We got to figure out what might be the best opponent right now. Like, I still think maybe Sephiroth would be the right play, but we're going to go in and see what the next match is, and it's going to be Palutena.
Yeah, Palutena.
Interesting choice to see here, but it could be what Boise State needs as Texas Wesleyan is going to reset their stocks. Now get ready for it. Both going to emote to signal the start of the game, and Texas Wesleyan is going to get the first hit, but Palutena is going to quickly follow it up with a series of attacks, bringing them up to 36%.
And this Palutena seems to already be doing quite well, has these powerful ranged attacks. And maybe this is the plan here, is that you don't even try to engage with this Enderman. But it looks like this Enderman will actually be able to find a little bit of damage. There will be a nice recovery, but now this is just going to be more mining. But it looks like this Palutena is getting a nice bit of poke damage down. Will not actually be able to get hit by the minecart. And now these blocks are just getting taken out. And we will see how this matchup goes.
Yeah, Palutena is just keeping up the pressure right now, just going back and forth, having some solid recovery there, not really letting Enderman get the mining in that he needs to, as his resources are currently just kind of stuck with some basic stuff right now. He tries to recover, succeeds, but Palutena is right there and waiting. He misses the grab, is able to shield and block, and gets a nice attack off on Palutena. They're both at the same percentages right now. Could go either way. Both characters are definitely in the danger zone, but Palutena gets a nice grab off into a combo attack, launching him off the stage, giving Boise State the 3-1 that they desperately need right now.
Yeah, and now even if you're this Palutena, even if you get a stock taken off, yes, Texas Wesleyan will still have the lead. So yeah, Texas Wesleyan will have the lead now, secured even if this Enderman gets taken out. But now this is just one stock. If you can take out this Enderman, things are so much easier for the Broncos. But we will actually have to see if that is possible, as this Enderman is just comboing this Palutena down. But it looks like Palutena is striking back. But the minecart will not find contact. The Enderman is just trying so desperately, will actually be able to craft. But this Palutena is just saying, I will not let you do that.
Yeah, both kind of just waiting for the opportunity right now, shielding. Palutena gets a grab, throws him off the side, tries to follow it up, but Enderman just waits before getting back up on stage, trying to block her off. Gets a couple attacks off. We're kind of currently in even percentages right now. Could go either way, but Texas Wesleyan is able to get a nice attack off, give them an opportunity to mine as Boise State recovers back onto stage.
Yeah, now this Palutena is at very dangerous range. This Enderman just shields the fire damage, and now this is a diamond found. This is very dangerous. If you were this Palutena, this Enderman is looking for blood here, and maybe will be able to find it. Palutena not threatened on the recover, but now this is diamond tools, Minecart coming through. This Enderman has lots of material to work with. The anvil will not be able to be found, but now this is anybody's game. This is so dangerous here for both sides.
Yeah, Palutena just needs one good hit, and Enderman can just easily take a stock if he wants to. And so right now they're just dancing around looking for their opportunities. He's able to mine, tries to go in for a low attack, but Palutena waits him out. Unfortunately, Enderman does get the pickaxe attack off and is able to bring Boise State down to one stock. As it's now just a dangerous game, Enderman knocks Palutena into the air, gets a grab off, launching them near the side, giving him more time to mine away as Palutena has to recover. Ooh, hits the minecart, tries to knock him off the side, as Palutena does manage to get the attack, allowing Boise State to recover, though they did take a heavy loss there in that attack. All of those stocks.
So it will be a 2-stock advantage still for Texas Wesleyan, but now that Enderman is taken out, as you can just hear the excitement and the popping off here for the Super Smash Bros. Team of Boise State. They are feeling this energy. They are feeling so excited. They are ready to take their victory, but they will have to first even up that lead if they want to succeed.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. However, as we talked about, Enderman might be the key for Boise State here. He has been kind of the menace, so now getting him out of the way and now having a new character, Palutena, going up against one of the couple characters that is like open up to Texas Wesleyan, which is going to be, I believe, Ganon, Falcon, and Incineroar. All three are definitely options for them. I don't know if they'll go with Incineroar, though. Palutena is very good at teleporting around, stuff like that. But Steve or Ganon, not Steve, Ganon or Falcon are both viable options, and so we'll just have to see where they go with this. Palutena could be what Boise State needs, though, to kind of shake up the just current standings we have.
Yeah, and obviously, you know, Enderman, Steve, is such a special character. Kind of like really changes up how the game is dictated in terms of like kind of how you have to position and what abilities you go for. But now that it is kind of taken out, it sort of reverts things back to a state of kind of more normal, more sane gameplay, as I would say. And so I think things will be significantly easier for the Broncos here.
Yeah, I definitely think that Enderman just changes up the gameplay like you were talking about. Just having to deal with the different blocks that he puts up in the walls that he can create is a hard challenge for a lot of players, especially if you play a character that just doesn't have the reach they need to get towards him and just prevent the resource gathering that has been so effective for this Enderman tonight. However, I do think that it's also going to be just a lot more I think it could go either way. As we go into the next match here, it's going to be Palutena versus Texas Wesleyan. BSU is going to have to reset their stocks. They're going to be starting with one stock, so it's a dangerous game for Boise State. They're going to want to try their best to get rid of as many stocks off of this Falcon before being taken down. And as we go into it, they do get the first attack off, but Falcon is significantly more powerful and is able to try and keep up here so far.
But this Palutena also has good tools to answer this Captain Falcon, can really just do damage to him before he can even reach her. But it seems like this Captain Falcon is just comboing so far now. This Palutena is already at a dangerous percentage for a light character against Captain Falcon. But it looks like this percentages will be evened up, and that's about it.
As you were trying to set that up there, no, unfortunately, Captain Falcon was able to get a solid aerial combo, launching Palutena into the air, with now leaving Boise State at 2 characters left against Texas Wesleyan's 3 characters. No stock change for them, so they are now at a 3-stock advantage against Boise State, which does seem dangerous. However, we do have Captain Falcon left and DDD, which are both really powerful. Actually, no, it's not. No, it's... Is it Ken? I'm forgetting now. Wait, no, it's Ken. Yes, no, sorry. Captain Falcon was taken out first round. So it's Ken and DDD. Both really good characters, especially Ken against Captain Falcon is a solid matchup for them. They both have some pretty powerful attacks, and Ken has the benefit of having a couple ranged attacks that Falcon doesn't, so that could end up going in Boise State's favor.
Definitely, but when you're at 3-stock disadvantage, that's an entire character. You kind of have to start sweating if you're Boise State. And not sweating in terms of, like, playing sweaty. I mean, like, you got to be a little bit more nervous. maybe a bit more controlled gameplay. But again, there's also the other philosophy in that you're at this disadvantage, so you kind of have to go for those more risky plays and kind of hope that they work out. Either one is sort of, not necessarily correct or incorrect. It kind of comes down to how confident you are that you can play the match better.
Yeah, it's definitely the two trains of thought there. The high risk, high reward, or the play it safe and just make sure that you look for your opportunities instead of trying to just create openings, which both are viable strategies, and we'll have to see what Boise State chooses here. I do think that it's going to be really just up to how well they can take out this next player and how many stocks they lose here, because it is definitely a really hard challenge for any team to have to lose a player and then play against, like, any more than 5 stocks, like 4 stocks, is rough because it's just so much for one player to try and take on their own. And so it'll be really up to just whether or not Boise State manages to take a lot of stocks from this Falcon before we go to their final character, which is most likely going to be DDD. So we're probably going to see a Ken versus Falcon matchup here. And it'll be interesting. And it might end up going in Texas Wesleyan's favor. And I guess I spoke wrong. It's actually going to be DDD versus Texas Wesleyan. So we're going to be going up against the 2 clean stocks here, so we're not going to have to reset as Captain Falcon gets the first attack.
Yeah, and this King DDD has sort of been the cleaner here for Boise State, just kind of taking out extra stocks and kind of being a clutch factor, as we already see this Captain Falcon is sort of struggling against this King DDD. However, now they will actually take the advantage here in terms of percentages. Ledge guarding will be successful, and already this King DDD has a stock taken out. Captain Falcon is not really that high of a percentage already.
Yeah, DDD trying to get another attack off. Oh, he gets footstooled, but is able to recover, making the Falcon lose a stock. That was a very dangerous play, but Boise State managed to pull through, as we're now just kind of a clean reset. Falcon taking more damage right now, but is able to recover and try and retaliate. Just both teams playing it safe right now, trying to stay near the ledge, get a grab and throw off. Captain Falcon manages to launch DDD off the side, but DDD retaliates with a spike and is able to get off the ledge once again and recover near middle.
But this King DDD cannot afford to take these one-for-one trades. Has to really find this Captain Falcon on the ledge, because you're not going to beat him on the platform, you have to believe. Or maybe I spoke too soon. But now both of these characters are a very high percentage and smacked right into the spike. And now a little bit of ledge guarding going on. The Captain Falcon will not be successful. Beautifully played by this King DDD. And now this is looking very dangerous for both of these characters, at least in these stocks.
Yeah, both at high percentages. Captain Falcon is definitely in a little bit more danger, as DDD is a bit heavier than he is. However, they are both hanging on tight, just trying their best to stay away from the ledge. DDD gets the grab, tries to follow through with a spike, and an aerial attack, manages to get the hit, bringing it to 2-1, which is what Boise State wants, and they just have to now hang on, try and keep this 2-stock advantage if they can in this match, so that way it's not DDD 1 stock against the next player. Does manage to hit Captain Falcon off the side, but they both recover. With no ledge guarding really available, DDD launches him once again, gets the spike combo. Ooh.
Oh, that was almost kind of a very perfect run there for the King DDD on that stock of Captain Falcon. But now it will just come down to 1-1, but obviously this King DDD has the advantage.
Nice clean attack there from King DDD, able to launch Captain Falcon off the side, winning them the set. Unfortunately, though, he did lose 2 stocks, so he's now going up against his next opponent with 1 stock left, which means it could either be, let's see, Ganon or Incineroar next.
Ganon or Incineroar. Either of those characters will fare all right against the King DDD. Obviously, Leia Dog is playing pretty phenomenally on that King DDD. Almost actually was able to save another stock, but the Captain Falcon just barely pulled it off in terms of taking out that stock. Yeah. And now it's only a 2-stock advantage here. And obviously there are still 2 characters for the Broncos. And so again, it's just anybody's game. We've seen how these advantages can swing one way or the other for Texas Wesleyan or for Boise State. And really, it's just going to come down to, excellent gameplay and just, again, playing the percentages and being able to accomplish what you need to do.
It definitely looks like it is going to be in Texas Wesleyan's court for a little bit. However, like you talked about, we have seen where these two-stock advantages will go, and this might be what Boise State needs. They did manage to get another character out of the way, which is what they need, and so DDD's just going to want to try his best against whoever they throw at him to get as many stocks off of him. If they can get a character, that's great to bring it down to a 1v1, but ultimately, it's just how many stocks he can get off of this next character to make the final character the easiest. Personally, I do think they're probably going to try and throw Incineroar against him, considering how well he fared previously against DDD, because I think the heavy character matchup, when it goes like Ganondorf versus DDD, I think it tends to go in DDD's favor, but we'll have to see, and looks like it will be Incineroar going against him right now, as we're going to go into this next match.
Yeah, and this King DDD will not be able to play these spikes as well as versus Incineroar as other characters. Obviously, the Incineroar can power off of those spikes, and we will just see if this Incineroar is able to counter this King DDD or whether Leia Dog will be able to even it up a little bit.
And so far, Incineroar has taken a couple hits, and so has DDD. DDD currently at the higher stock percentage, but the spikes have been thrown out, and they have been both deflected and extremely effective so far. Incineroar getting his first ring attack there as he tries to launch DDD off the side. They're both near even percentages right now, just trying to get a solid attack and opening as they both just bounce back and forth, bouncing the spikes towards each other. Not really wanting to get near each other. It is a dangerous game. Unfortunately, DDD is now in a very dangerous position. High percentages already. Manages to try and swallow a spike back, but Incineroar is just bouncing back and forth. Just does not want to get hit. Gets bounced into the air by one spike. Tries to block an attack, but isn't quite timed correctly, and so DDD manages to launch him into the air.
Yeah, this Incineroar is not really taking the bait on any of these spikes, and now maybe this King DDD has sort of figured it out. Oh. And actually, that will be a stock taken out, but again, this King DDD only has one stock to play with, has 111 percentage here, and so is in very dangerous KO range. But maybe the Broncos will be happy with just a 1-for-1, but we will actually have to see if this Incineroar will have another stock taken off of him.
Ooh, and DDD's trying his best, throwing out the spikes and knocking them off the side, but Incineroar manages to recover, tries to bring a spin attack out, but isn't quite able to land it fully. Tries to do another counter attack. They're both kind of dancing by the ledge right now. DDD's trying to keep him off the edge and does manage to hit a spike, launching him pretty far away, but Incineroar uses his aerial recovery to get back to the center of the stage. So DDD throws him off the side.
A grapple here, but still this Incineroar is still kicking and actually will not get knocked quite yet, which must be quite frustrating. But a stock will get taken out, and now this is evened up here, 4-4, and this King DDD I don't think took any damage in that previous stock.
No.
And now this Incineroar is kind of on the back foot, it feels like, in terms of momentum. Definitely still has the percentage advantage, but now just getting eaten up, and this King DDD has found his stride. We will have to see if the impossible can happen. This Incineroar will get some damage off. Ledge guard will not be successful. Spin attack will not find any contact. And now, if you're King DDD, you have to play so careful. And if you're Incineroar, you just want to take this menace out.
Yeah, but Boise State is not going down without a fight. Launches him off, combos with the spike, allowing Boise State to turn the advantage in their favor now. DDD, the last bastion right now, able to knock out Incineroar, giving Boise State the lead they need for a comeback.
And now, like we said, these stock advantages can swing back and forth. And I feel like I've seen this before where we had a 2-stock disadvantage into a 1-stock advantage. It is so loud, I can hear these Boise State Smash players screaming. And obviously that King DDD, I think, played so well with the stock that he had.
I mean, he just had to be very careful there. Just like every time he threw a spike, he had to be careful about calculating it. Incineroar was just waiting there. It was like they were playing a game of tennis, kind of back and forth with the ball, just back and forth that spike. Incineroar did not want to get hit. Luckily for good old DDD, he was able to just get enough of them off that he was able to catch him in his mistakes and throw him off the side.
Yeah, the Incineroar, I felt like, was doing a pretty good job at the start, but what really was the deciding factor there was the fact that this Incineroar just kept on trying to find contact on this King DDD, and Laydog was not playing that game, was just dodging, and once that dodge came through, then those spikes were infinitely more effective because they were not able to be deflected, were not able to be countered or shielded, and then once the Incineroar had to play in the air and off the platform, that is really where this King DDD was able to open up and find the advantage.
Yeah, no, definitely. Incineroar just was like I think he just focused a little bit too much on just deflecting the spikes and not pushing towards DDD because Incineroar is a melee character who does not have a lot of range and doesn't have a great up ability. Like, it's very directional. It's not great unless you time it right. So his resources are really just about getting as close as possible and just throwing you off and getting as much damage through. And because he was so focused on DDD's, like, spikes, he didn't really get the opportunity to actually, like, create a lot of openings for himself there.
Even that being said, like, the King DDD was at 130%, so even like if you are taking a lot of damage from these spikes, all you gotta do is just find a few smacks and maybe you take that stock out, and this looks completely different for Texas Wesleyan. But there's no time for retrospection, as we actually have the Ganondorf versus King DDD, both heavy characters, and we will see if this Ganondorf will be able to take these stocks out for the King DDD.
Yeah. Boise State is going to reset quick here and get down to the 3-1 as they both prepare to begin the match. Taunting to start the fight as they both try to get in the first hit. The spike lands, giving 17% to Ganondorf as Texas Wesleyan is just kind of waiting for their opportunity. Gets a solid grab on DDD as they both shield to try and block the next couple attacks on them.
And it looks like this King DDD might have a bit more difficult of a time than versus the Incineroar. And these spikes are just getting shielded, but it looks like the dash, but the backslash there. And that means that this Ganondorf will find a lot of damage on this King DDD. However, we might see some ledge play here. But this King DDD is spinning his mallet. And actually that spike hits, and now this is a good position for this King DDD. This Ganondorf will be able to find the recovery, but the King DDD says, I will take a stock off of you anyway. And now things are looking very desperate here if you're Texas Wesleyan.
Yeah, DDD was able to take a solid just combo spike there to knock Ganondorf off the side and just away from the ledge, preventing a ledge guard. As he now tries to turn the tables, Ganondorf doesn't let him and pushes him to the other side of the stage. DDD tries to go off the ledge for a potential swallow and throw, but Ganondorf doesn't fall for it, launching DDD near the side. DDD's going to have to play careful now. He's at 139% compared to Ganondorf's 31 as he manages to bounce a spike away towards DDD. It's very dangerous for him now as he's just playing the edge game, and Ganondorf's able to get a kick off, launching Boise State off the side, but not without losing one of his stocks, bringing it still to a one-stock advantage for Boise State.
And now this really, again,
down to the wire.
All three of these matches have come down to the final character for both teams, and now we are probably going to see the Ken versus Ganondorf matchup. It's going to be very exciting, both melee characters, both getting up in your face, and we will have to see if those Shoryukens, those uppercuts can come through, which have really been the bread and butter for this Ken. And again, the Ken, if it is the Ken, will have a one-stock advantage, but you can't just throw that away. You have to use that effectively. And I guess in that sense, you can feel comfortable trading one for one, just kind of going, I don't know, sicko mode or something. Because at this point, there's nothing left to give and nothing left to reveal. It just comes down to getting those percentages up.
Yeah, and you know what I find interesting about this matchup is that for the past two games, like before this, our starting lineup was Ganondorf versus Ken. So it's kind of funny that we're going to end the final match with another Ganondorf versus Ken matchup. And previously, as we've seen, it's been kind of favorable for Boise State. So with this stock advantage, it'll be interesting to see if it kind of follows suit with those previous matchups, or if Texas Wesleyan, now that it's down to the wire, it's the final match of this conference, if they're going to be able to just kind of like figure out like Ken's weaknesses here and take it away from him and take the, match.
Yep, we have the Alpha, and we saw the Alpha, and now we have the Omega. The beginning and the end here, and they look very similar, except I guess it's not 3 stocks versus 3 stocks, it's 3 stocks versus 2 stocks. And ultimately, I think we are going to have a very nice final matchup here. This came as close as it could possibly be here. Texas Wesleyan versus Boise State, the Broncos versus the Rams, and again, it's just going to come down to whoever's feeling more comfortable, whoever is more in the zone, and whoever is luckier, or more skillful.
Oh yeah, the stock advantage is definitely there, but it is, as always, going to be just partially player skill. Player skill is the most important. It's why you have to spend so much time playing a video game, after all. Like, not everyone becomes a competitive player, and it's just a very hard thing to pass off. So it's incredible to be able to see these finals, see 2 teams who have gone so far in the season, have been able to change and grow and improve, and just kind of come down to just who's going to be able to take it and just strategize better, pull out their skills and characters better. And we're getting close to the start up now. So we're just kind of waiting to decide who's going to do what, and maybe if there's going to be any switch-ups. We'll have to see. So far, it looks like they're just kind of planning out, strategizing. It is very important to kind of figure out who's going to be doing what right now, and kind of the way they should start up, because start of the match is kind of where we set the tone.
Definitely, and once you get that momentum swinging one way or another, it can be very difficult to kind of reset that, stop it, or swap it the other way. Obviously, if you're trading 1 for 1, Texas Wesleyan does not want to do that, and so they are going to have this Ganondorf maneuver in a sort of different way, and we will have to see whether that is safe gameplay, or if that is going to be this Ganondorf is just going to be out for blood with those powerful attacks.
It's going to be really hard for Ganondorf, though. He's such a slow character. I mean, he hits really hard, but he is very slow. And Ken is a much faster character than him, so it's going to be very important for Ganondorf to try and manage that risk. Like, if he does take risks, he's going to want to make sure that it's not going to be something that's going to put him at a disadvantage, as Ken is going to be able to recover a lot better than he will in a lot of situations. But I think if Ganondorf wants to be able to take this for Texas Wesleyan, it's going to be managing those uppercuts. Just every time they took a stock from him, it was because they were able to get a solid uppercut from an opportunity that Ganondorf gave them.
And we see Season Curly's in the hot seat. We just have the Broncos cheering up their finisher here, as it will be the Ken versus the Ganondorf. And we are going to get into this match. It is going to be exciting. I hope it's not just somebody throwing themselves off the ledge 17 times, but again, this comes down to the wire here, and we kind of have just a fairly simple map here to finish it out.
I like how we have the peaceful background music of the Animal Crossing stage for our final match. As we get into it, Ken is going to make a series of attacks, getting Ganondorf already up to 40%. Ganondorf retaliates next to the ledge to get a safe recovery, but Ken sends him right back down, taking the first stock, giving Boise State a 2-stock advantage against Ganondorf.
And now, if you're Ken, you can play a little bit more comfortably. Obviously, you don't want to go too crazy, but you have to be feeling very great about that, because that wasn't even a percentage play. That was just a complete outplay. The Hadouken will actually get countered, and now this Ganondorf will be doing some nice damage. Backward sword. The grapple will come through, will actually find the damage, and now this Ganondorf has to be playing so carefully, cannot be taking this damage here. The spin kick comes through. Will this be a ledge play for either character? No, it will not be. This Ken will get reset here, but now this is 75%. And now this is getting so dangerous for both sides here. Grapple will be coming through, and now this comes down to who will be able to get the percentages here.
Ooh, Ganondorf gets a nice sword attack off on Ken. Their percentages are pretty close, but it's more of a problem for Ganondorf than it is for Ken. He shoots off a Hadouken to try and keep the ledge guarding at a bay, but he's not quite able to land anything. Goes for the uppercut, and Ganondorf takes the opportunity to get a decent attack off of him. Ken is now in a more dangerous position, 97%. We're starting to get towards launchable percentages once again, as Ganondorf is just very carefully edging towards him, knocking him off the side. Ooh. Nice recovery there from Boise State. But unfortunately, it's not enough as Ganondorf just kicks him off the side, now evening up the stocks 1-1.
This has come down to basically as close as you can get it, but this Ganondorf is at 100%. But we've seen that this doesn't really matter that much, as we have the Ganondorf getting knocked up into the air. Will be able to successfully recover, but get some nice damage down onto Ken. The grapple will come through, and now both of these sides are going to start to be playing.
Boise State with the opening is able to get the uppercut, knocking Ganondorf out of the stage, meaning Boise State is the finalist, the winner of the West Central Conference for the NACE Star League for Super Smash Bros.
At Varsity Plus, and as you can see, and I'm sorry, I had to cut off my sentence there because it was so loud. There was pop-offs from every single player here for the Boise State Super Smash Bros. Team. Congratulations, finding victory and kind of their first demonstration as Boise State manages to find a victory their first time around in Super Smash Bros. And I think we had Season Curly's there on the Ken, actually doing a real life Shoryuken uppercut. Just so loud, you can definitely feel the energy, the excitement. So congratulations to the Broncos taking down Texas Wesleyan in the finals, coming down to basically as thin of a margin as you can get. And obviously,
absolutely, especially for their first year. That is an incredible comeback for Boise State there. It was looking really tough there as Texas Wesleyan took the first match, and Boise State managed to come back with that 3-stock lead at the end there. Boise State really had to pull out all the stops and did manage to win it 2-1. Congratulations, Boise State. That is an incredible win for the first season that Boise State's Esports Arena has had a Smash Bros. Team too.
Yeah, and obviously if you're Texas Wesleyan, you can feel, you didn't win, but you can feel pretty proud that you took the best team, basically, that was the best team
all the way down to the wire.
All the way down to the wire. And so in terms of players, who do you think the player of the game is?
Oh, that's hard. This, like normally I'd feel it was a little more cut and dry because Boise State has some really good players, but just like it tends to be one player who just kind of sets the tone. But every match, it was kind of different. So I'd say, I think this time I'm going to go with Leodog. He just ended up being really good for the team and just ended up like every time he was swapped in, he really made it count. But I do think there's some other options, so who do you think?
Well, if you're going to say Leydog, I'm going to say Season Curly's. Just that Ken, because it got taken down very close there at the end and did not lose the clutch factor and was able to find that Shoryuken, get that uppercut, and actually finish off Texas Wesleyan.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting player of game to try and pick. I'm not really sure. Like, I say Leodog, but I keep looking at them, and it's like, man, there were so many good plays overall. Like, if we just look at like the Joker swap to like Sephiroth, the Sephiroth play was really good. But it looks like before we do player of the game, we have a video from Doc Haskell, the coach of like down here, in response to what happened, I think.
Maybe. We will have to see as we have a video.
Let's go. Nice job. Congrats. That was amazing down to the last stock. So cool. Wish we could be there to jump up and down with you, but it looks like you got it covered. Great job.
Yep, and that was
quick message from Doc Haskell, congratulating the team as they come up to the desk here just to celebrate a little bit. Congrats to all of you guys. I'm sure they're losing their voice.
They're losing their voice. My voice is already dead.
Voice.
Yeah, I drank like 2 bottles of water here, and obviously they are over here. They want to be in the camera. They want to be in the limelight. They deserve it. And now we will actually see the player of the game.
Yeah. So as we get into it, looks like we've got Captain Falcon here. See, up against
The Enderman, yeah. So it looks like, oh.
Little audio problems. We're probably just going to try and reset and fix that real quick. And it looks like we're going to go into the player of the game. It is going to be Diggle on Captain Falcon. Just some really incredible plays there, able to take out and just go toe-to-toe with the Enderman there, which is what Boise State really needed to actually be able to push through there. Just a lot of really solid plays. Gets knocked off the side there. Able to recover, dodge the TNT, and launch him into the air to just try and take out as many stocks as possible. And as always, the player of the game is brought to you by Idaho Central Credit Union. ICCU believes a great player makes a team more successful, just like how Idaho Central helps its member achieve financial success. Diggle is the player of the game for tonight. Congratulations, Diggle. Congratulations, Boise State. It was a well-done play, as we're seeing once again, going up against the Incineroar, getting some solid attacks and combos off, not letting him keep up.
And I don't know if you can hear that in my mic, but we have the Boise State Smash team just screaming at how well Diggle played there, and they're feeling so excited. Obviously, congratulations to them. They can go home champions tonight, and I think that was pretty much the best matchup we could have had. And, you know, obviously came down to
last little bit there. It was a really tough challenge. It was a great way to end off such a just eventful conference for our team. Congratulations once again to both Texas Wesleyan and Boise State. You played your hearts out, and it was an incredible game to watch. And so now we're going to leave you with the top 5 plays of the game from those matchups. The Idaho Army National Guard is our sponsor for our top 5 plays, and they invite you to take your impressive critical thinking skills into real time. With more than 10 jobs offering a $20,000 bonus and your degree of choice paid for, the Idaho Army National Guard is the best team to join. Reach out to them on Twitch at iGuard Gaming. Once again, congratulations, and we'll leave you with the top 5 plays of the game tonight.